Louis, KMOX FM Hazelwood, the voice of St. Louis.
ABC News, I'm Sherry Preston. The head of the UN's nuclear watchdog this morning signaling that international inspectors will be heading for Iran's nuclear sites. As for when, President Trump was asked about that.
From your view, Mr. President, when will those inspectors actually be on the ground?
At the appropriate time. At the appropriate time. There's no rush, but they'll be on the ground at the appropriate time.
The president not happy with the vote in the Senate yesterday.
On this motion, the yeas are 50, the nays are 48. The concurrent motion is agreed to.
The tally is the Senate for the first time approved a war powers resolution demanding that President Trump get congressional approval for any more military action in Iran. The president calling the resolution meaningless for Republicans voting in favor of the measure. President will face Senate Republicans today as he heads to Capitol Hill for a GOP lunch. Europe is still sweltering. Parts of France hitting 111 degrees yesterday. This is ABC News. The Justice Department announcing one of the biggest healthcare fraud crackdowns ever, as ABC's Karen Wall reports. More than 450 people are now facing charges connected to $6 billion in alleged scams involving taxpayer money.
In one case, a nurse practitioner allegedly ran a $900 million scheme, billing Medicare for unnecessary skin grafts. Officials say she took that money and bought an $800,000 necklace, a Ferrari, and a luxury vacation. The FBI also announced 2 more suspects on its most wanted fraudsters list, allegedly connected to nearly $700 million in medical testing schemes.
At the NBA draft last night, the Detroit Pistons picked Kareem Lopez, who became the first Mexican-born player ever to be drafted in the first round. He wore a jacket lined with Mexican flags. The first pick of the night was BYU freshman A.J. DeBonsta, selected by the Washington Wizards. I'm Sherry Preston, ABC News.
It is 6:02, and we do have clouds downtown, but I do see some sunshine trying to peek out right now. It is 64 degrees downtown. I'm Debbie Monterrey.
And I'm Tom Ackerman. A Missouri state representative is going to introduce legislation on data centers and transparency. Tricia Burns is having the first hearing on the issue.
First off, I want these NDAs to be a thing of the past. Now, I understand branding can be a concern, but outside of that, we can't even ask, for instance, a hydrogeologist cannot tell you what the situation is for water.
Representative Burns tells KMOX that can only be done if they know the exact location of the data center. The representative will call for public hearings as well as documents displayed for the public to see at a minimum for 10 days before decisions are made on data centers.
St. Louis County will begin cutting medical services at the County Justice Center, though technically the funds don't run out until the end of the month.
The County Council has been sitting on a bill providing the needed funds until they meet with the Director of the Health Department, Dr. Kanika Cunningham. Councilwoman Shalonda Webb is wondering why the cuts to service are coming a week before the contract expires.
I don't know why they're saying that all fire departments and police departments starting on tomorrow, that you must send your residents that you're detaining to the hospital to get that check-in process.
County Executive Dr. Sam Page.
We have to take the next 5 days or 7 days to prepare for something we've never done before, which is provide skeleton emergency medical services inside the jail and coordinate with emergency services in the community.
Other coming changes include having correctional officers leave the jail to watch detainees in the hospital where they will begin receiving medical care. Sean Malone, KMOX News.
The FAA has been called in to investigate a plane crash near Bismarck, Missouri. The plane went down just before 10:30 in the morning yesterday at Lake Avalon Road. In a Facebook posting, St. Francis County Sheriff Jeff Kreitz reports there were no injuries. St. Francis deputies have Lake Avalon Road closed indefinitely.
The city of St. Louis does not have to pay a man wrongly convicted on federal drug crimes, according to the Missouri Supreme Court. Michael Holmes always maintained his innocence and served 5 years of a 25-year sentence until it turned out the 2 police officers who arrested him in 2003 lied in his case and engaged in repeated misconduct. But the high court overturned Holmes' $2.5 million settlement awarded by a federal jury, saying the city is exempt under the legal doctrine of sovereign immunity. That's according to the Post-Dispatch.
Former police officer Bobby Lee Garrett served prison time for, among other things, stealing money, planting drugs, making false statements, and false arrests to cover his crimes. Former officer Shell Sharp testified he saw Holmes drop a bag of drugs. Holmes said that never happened.
A bus driver with the Dunklin R5 school district has been charged after allegedly drinking just prior to driving dozens of children. This happened in February. According to a probable cause statement, Donna Brennan of Crystal City faces 1 count of DWI, 37 counts of endangering the welfare of a child. She was caught on surveillance footage drinking a Coors Light at Cade's Playground in Herculaneum, later admitted to drinking half a beer. 2 officers.
Brennan's blood alcohol level registered at 0.029. She drove a bus that had 40 passengers, with 37 of them children under the age of 17. Brennan was terminated on the day of the incident, according to a statement from the Dunklin R5 school district. Parents were also notified that same day.
Gravois Avenue, the most dangerous road last year in St. Louis City. According to TrailNet's State of Our Streets report, 23 motor vehicle crashes occurred on Gravois last year, resulting in 19 injuries and 4 deaths.
So we do see Gravois this year as both having the highest number of crashes involving vulnerable road users and the most fatalities. In previous years, it's always been in the top 3, 4, or 5 for the region as well. So this is a consistent problem.
The author of that report, Eric Helmer, encourages residents to weigh in on the current discussions between the city and the Missouri Department of Transportation. They're redesigning Gravois to make it safer.
The McDonald Planetarium has been closed for some technological upgrades. It's getting a new star projector to replace the one installed in 2001.
The star projector itself is the first of its kind in the United States. It's a Goto Chiron 3, which is a bit of a mouthful, but it's built by a Japanese company. In fact, the original company that built the first star projector here in St. Louis in the 60s.
And now it's time for the grand reopening, July 18th. Planetarium Director Will Snyder says the new projector will still be able to show the starry sky, but now you'll feel like you're flying through the universe, seeing planets and more. There's new sound system as well and new programming.
I can't wait for that.
That's going to be awesome.
I've been to the Science Center so many times. I've never seen a show at the planetarium.
Oh,
never.
Baby.
Can you believe that?
Yeah, you're going to love it.
Well, I'm going to see one now, that's for sure.
I know that. 6:07, we're going to get a report from Roger Brand at 6:10.
Amendment 4 on the August ballot hides some ugly facts. It would create a new minority veto power, but only for ballot issues that are citizen-led.
I just say no to that.
Amendment 4 permanently ends majority rule for citizen-led ballot issues.
I'm a no on 4.
Politicians put Amendment 4 on the ballot to severely limit citizens' constitutional power.
I say no on 4.
4 is a power grab by politicians. It lets one congressional district veto reforms backed by the majority of voters statewide, giving as few as 5% of voters control over the rest of us.
That's why I say no to 4.
4 would make it nearly impossible to rein in out-of-control politicians.
I say heck no.
4 takes away our constitutional power we've used for over 100 years to pass reforms that politicians wouldn't. Keep majority rule and your power. Just say no to Amendment 4. It's an ugly politician power grab. Paid for by Missourians for Fair Governance.
This year, America celebrates 250 years. 2.5 centuries of courage, sacrifice, and family stories passed down from one generation to the next. Hi, I'm Nick Mako.
And I'm Adam Baselogger, founders of Legacy Box. Your family's piece of the American story is sitting in an attic or closet right now, trapped on aging VHS tapes, camcorder tapes, film reels, and fading photos.
Those boxes hold moments you can never recreate. Your wedding day, your children's voices when they were little, grandparents coming back to life on screen.
Over 2 million families have trusted Legacy Box. And we've just partnered with the USO to digitize fragile handwritten letters from World War II, helping preserve American history for future generations.
As America turns 250, remember that your family is a part of the American story. Preserving those voices, faces, and moments is a part of your responsibility to the next generation. Don't let them disappear on your watch.
Visit legacybox.com/radio for our amazing America 250 sale. That's legacybox.com/radio to save.
This hour of Total Information AM is sponsored by Gamma Tree Experts.
It's going on 6:10. We need to get you updated on your ride in. Let's get the very latest from Roger Brand. He's in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, Debbie, everything's pretty much back on the go now, which is good news on westbound Highway 70 coming out through that Wentzville Parkway area. The roadwork got picked up just a couple minutes late. Not really a big deal. Right now, I'm seeing a little bit of a backup, a little jam on northbound 270 coming up the hill from just north of Doherty Ferry toward Manchester. I do see a couple of cars on the right shoulder, so I'm assuming it was a minor crash that was maybe in the traffic lanes, and it got cleared over to the shoulder quickly. They don't look very heavily damaged at all, but there is, again, a little bit of a backup there north of Doherty Ferry through Manchester right now on northbound Highway 270. Other than that, we look good, even in the construction zones. Like I said, Wentzville's back to normal. Not enough volume to cause delays in the other areas, but we have seen consistent delays the last few days since they started a project Monday, northbound 255 from 5570 up to Horseshoe Lake Road. But even there right now, things are on the go in downtown. Of course, 44 still closed between the Musial Veterans and Poplar Bridges. Eastbound 70, though, still looks good, headed for Tucker. Next update at 6:20 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
If you or someone you know suffered any injuries involving a deployed airbag, you could be entitled to compensation. Morgan & Morgan has already recovered millions. Get America's largest injury law firm fighting for you.
Visit forthepeople.com for an office near you. A mix of sun and clouds today and becoming more humid for the afternoon hours. Watch out for an afternoon or evening thunderstorm as well. The high 84. Partly to mostly cloudy, warm and sticky overnight, those 69. For tomorrow, more clouds and sun and humid. Look for a shower or thunderstorm at the afternoon, high 84. Some showers and heavier thunderstorms tomorrow night can produce damaging winds and cause flash flooding. For Friday, mostly cloudy and humid with a couple of showers and heavy thunderstorms, the high 79. From the Saliga Heating and Cooling Weather Desk, I'm AccuWeather meteorologist Joe Lundberg on 104.1 FM. KMOX.
We're mostly cloudy downtown, 64 in Florissant, 64 in St. Peter's, and 64 degrees at the Arch.
It is 6:11, and Madison County State's Attorney Tom Haynes says a Collinsville man has been found guilty of aggravated battery in connection with a machete attack during a 4th of July gathering in 2024. 29-year-old Jorge Barrera had a bench trial. The attack apparently stemmed from a disagreement over a parking spot at a Collinsville apartment complex. Barrera will be sentenced at a later date.
Missouri's number of abuse and neglect cases among the elderly and disabled is on the rise. In 2025, roughly 43,000 reports were made to Missouri's adult abuse and neglect hotline, an increase of about 1,300 over the previous year. Tim Jackson with Missouri's Adult Protective Services says self-neglect cases bring in the state's most reports.
Maybe a person has always been able to take care of their personal needs, their own activities of daily living, but they've gotten to a point where they are struggling with those. Maybe they can't do their own bathing or showering, preparing meals. Their home may be in disrepair.
Jackson says financial exploitation follows and has been on the rise for several years, often by family members.
Pope Leo XIV getting high marks from most American Catholics a little over a year since his election.
78% of U.S. Catholics have a favorable view of Pope Leo, down slightly from 84% last summer. Pew researcher Patricia Tevington.
And we find it fairly positive across the board among different types of Catholics. So among Catholics who attend Mass weekly, among Catholics who attend monthly or yearly, among white Catholics, among Hispanic Catholics, among men and women, all these groups, the majority of them see Pope Leo favorably.
But Catholics were split about Pope Leo's criticism of the Trump administration. While 19% say Leo has been too critical of the president, 16% say he hasn't been critical enough. 35% say he's striking the right balance. Fred Bottomer, KMOX News.
I'm willing to call a special session so that we can get a vote on it long before the veto session, if that's possible.
Illinois Governor J.B. Pritzker talking about getting a deal done with the Bears to keep them in Illinois before the General Assembly's veto session.
What I think we've all learned is what the Indiana legislature chose to do is to foist it all off on the counties and the cities around which the stadium that they want to have moved there would be. And so guess what? They don't have a tax that's passed to help pay for it there.
Pritzker says Illinois does not want to raise taxes on its residents, but adds they have offered infrastructure support, which is mostly what the Bears have been asking for.
3 St. Louis University pilots will be part of the historic all-female air race classic this week. Sophomore Bella Castro is on the team.
In 1929, we had the first female graduate from St. Louis University racing.
They took off from St. Louis Regional Airport yesterday. The race ends in Mount Vernon Friday.
Today in downtown St. Louis, a 1 o'clock news conference at Busch Stadium. The Cardinals called that last night. saying important news related to ownership and organizational leadership. In attendance will be team chairman Bill DeWitt Jr., his son, Bill DeWitt III, who is currently the president, Anouk Karunaratne, the vice president of business operations, and Chaim Bloom, president of baseball operations. KMOX will carry the news conference live at 1 o'clock. It will originate from Busch Stadium. We'll continue on with the Gas House Gang and carry that press conference again, 1 o'clock today at Busch Stadium. The Cardinals play tonight at 6:45. It's a 5:50 pregame. And so far, Matt Pauley, they have split the first two of this 4-game series.
It's a clear step forward for pitcher Kyle Leahy, who throws a career-high 6 1/3 shutout innings, giving the Cardinals their second longest scoreless outing from a starter this year. He gives up 3 hits, all doubles. He only strikes out 3, but he utilizes the strikeout to get out of multiple runner at third, less than 2-out situations. Manager Oliver Marmol thinks highly of the start.
They did really well and kept the pitch count down in order to go back out there. But really nice job by Kyle. He didn't get ahead of a whole lot of guys today, but still made pitches when needed. A lot of the misses were close. But overall, man, the mix was good. I'd like him stranding those runners early with the punch out up top and then the front hip sinker to get him looking there. But that was a really impressive outing by him. So something we need to continue to build off of, but solid.
In what turns into a 4-3 loss for the Cardinals against the Diamondbacks, Leahy does not factor into the decision. He has just 1 decision in his last 6 starts after a decision in 9 of his first 14. At Busch Stadium, Matt Pauley, KMOX Sports.
Again, a 6:45 start, 5:50 pregame, Gas House Gang at noon, and make sure to stay with us at 1 for that special news conference with Bill DeWitt Jr., Bill DeWitt III, Anouk Karunaratne, and Chaim Bloom at 1 o'clock. The Blues have traded Jordan Kyrou to the Washington Capitals. They've acquired forwards Connor McMichael and Milton Gastrin, along with the 16th overall selection in the NHL draft this weekend. That means the Blues now have 4 picks in the first round, picks 11, 15, and 16, and 29. Are they going to use them all? Are they going to trade some of them? We shall see. McMichael's only 25 years old. Appeared in 78 games for Washington last season, 14 goals and 32 assists. Kyrou, who is a goal scorer, appeared in 72 games. He scored 18 goals, posting 28 assists, so a bit of a down year for him, although he has 168 goals over his 8 NHL seasons with the Blues. He was drafted by them a decade ago. Gastrin is interesting. He's a Swedish player, was a captain on the Swedish Hockey League team that he played for. He's only 19, and the Blues apparently really like him. He dressed in 39 games, totaled 24 points, 10 goals, and 14 assists and 4 penalty minutes. And again, they also add a first-round pick, all of that for Jordan Kyrou. Keaton Wagler goes 4th in the NBA draft. The Fighting Illini guard, who is a freshman sensation, goes to the Los Angeles Clippers. Number 1 pick was BYU freshman A.J. DeBansa. He was the number 1 pick to the Wizards. He led the nation in scoring this past season, averaging 25.5 points per game. He had 43 points in a game that broke BYU's freshman scoring record. I'm Tom Ackerman on the home of the Cardinals, 104.1 FM KMOX.
Hi, Margaret with Eamon Gantner and Capriano. We all procrastinate. We put things off, confident we'll have time later. Well, one who procrastinates in choosing will inevitably have their choices made for them by circumstance. Could be an illness or even a death. And it happened to me. I was widowed at 41. It could happen to you. If you procrastinate and fail to plan for your future, for your children, circumstances and the courts will make your plans for you without your input. Eamon Gantner and Capriano help thousands of families plan for their future now. We can be your personal attorney too, guiding you with a will, trust, powers of attorney, Medicaid, and VA. You may delay, but time does not. Eamon Gantner and Capriano, YourEstateMatters.com.
The choice of an attorney is an important decision and shouldn't be based solely on advertising.
You feel it every time you check out. Prices up, paychecks stretched, families squeezed. That's why Ann Wagner's fighting to get government off your back and out of your way. Wagner passed the largest tax cut in American history. expanded child tax credits, ended taxes on tips, overtime, and Social Security. And Wagner is working to lower costs so families keep more of their hard-earned money. But Ann Wagner knows delivering for Missouri means more than just protecting their wallets. It means protecting our streets as well. That's why Wagner fought to secure our border, deport dangerous illegal aliens, partner with law enforcement, and put predators behind bars and off our streets so our neighborhoods and communities stay safe. Because real effective leadership protects what matters most: your money, your family, your safety. Ann Wagner for Congress.
I'm Ann Wagner, and I approve this message.
Paid for by Ann Wagner for Congress.
Total Information AM on 104.1 FM, KMOX.
It is 6:20, and here we are. It's Wednesday. It's June 24th. We're going to take a look at that forecast in just a moment, but it starts to get stormy. Not this morning, though. That's the good news. Roger Brand has a look at your ride-in from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Yeah, we're looking good on the roadways right now as well, Debbie. This traffic reports service of McKelvey Homes. In fact, the little delay we had northbound 270 coming up through Manchester where we had a minor crash is pretty well thinned out completely. In fact, only one of the two cars is left on the shoulder. They got over the shoulder pretty quickly, so the jam never got all that bad. And like I said, it's already thinned out. It looks good for you running through there. I just see a little bit of a backup right now northbound Tesson Ferry approaching Kennerly, but it's not even midway back to Butler Hill. 30 is just a little heavy right at the 270 lights there. Downtown, eastbound 70 still looks good coming through the work zone at Tucker. I do see a little bit of a roadwork slowdown on the Illinois side. Eastbound 5570 east of 203 just for a brief duration, but that's the only construction delay I'm seeing in the area so far. Next update at 6:30 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
McKelvey Homes is breaking ground on something new in O'Fallon, Strawberry Farms. When McKelvey builds something, they do it right. Visit McKelvey Homes to schedule a tour at Strawberry Farms in O'Fallon. Visit McKelveyHomes.com today and move up to McKelvey.
Weather-wise, we're looking at sun and clouds, more humid, possible thunderstorm day. Sounds like a typical St. Louis summer day. High today, 84 degrees, more humid in the afternoon with that thunderstorm in parts of the area through early evening. Partly to mostly cloudy, warm and humid overnight, low 69. Tomorrow, more clouds than sun, humid, with a shower and thunderstorm around in the afternoon, a high of 84. Then heavy thunderstorms tomorrow night are in the forecast, so we'll keep an eye on that for sure. Right now, we have a mostly cloudy sky, 65 downtown at the Arch.
It is going to be a busy weekend in downtown St. Louis, and one of the big celebrations, of course, is Pride Fest. Jordan Braxton is the Director of Diversity, Equity, and Outreach for Pride St. Louis. Thanks for joining us.
Well, good morning. Thanks for inviting me.
Where is it this year, and what's going on?
This is our 14th year being in the heart of downtown St. Louis, and people can expect just a lot of joy and happiness and community and family-friendly events. Let's start on what's happening on Saturday. So Saturday at 9:30, we're meeting at Keener Plaza for what we're calling a rally for our rights. We're meeting there, and then we're marching down Market to have a rally on the steps of City Hall because, right now our community is under attack for trans rights, queer rights, voting rights, body autonomy, abortion rights. So we all fight for that together. And then after that, we move to Soldiers Memorial, where we have our wreath-laying ceremony as we honor our fallen LGBTQI veterans because, queer people fought in the wars too. And then main stage starts at 2 o'clock. And then we have AJ and Allie. Those are headliners on Saturday. And then Sunday, of course, we move to the big parade, the big shebang, which we start at 10th and Market and go down to 15th and Market. And we have so many beautiful floats and walking groups and entries. And Sunday's the big day. I can't forget that at 10 a.m. we have our worship service on the festival grounds. All the churches come together and we have a morning worship service. And then at 2 o'clock, main stage begins and we end the day with Icona Pop. And then, of course, one of the best girl groups of all time, En Vogue.
Oh, I know. I couldn't believe it. En Vogue. Back in my early DJ days, I played a lot of En Vogue.
Oh my God. Free Your Mind. All those great songs. I can't wait.
Last year or the year before, there was a major push to get people to contribute to the Pride celebrations because unfortunately a lot of previous sponsors, corporate sponsors, decided to pull out because of the political situation. What are things looking like this year?
There has still been some, I'm not going to lie, there has still been some corporations that decided not to return, some that reduced their amounts of their sponsorships, but we have smaller mom and pop and local businesses and community that have stepped up to fill that gap. And I always remind people that Pride started as a protest. We were here long before corporations got into the play, before they started bidding on our pink dollars. So Pride festivals and Pride events have always been community focused. And that's what we're returning to, focus on our community. You'll see on our main stage a lot more of community events, community organizations. You'll see a lot more in the parade of focusing and highlighting and put our community organizations on front. Because that's what built Pride. Community built Pride. And we have never forgotten that at Pride St. Louis. And as you see some of our year-round activities that we do, we're giving back to the community. We have scholarships that we've given out. We have a community give back fund where we last spring funded 2 initiatives in our community. And we also do a Thanksgiving and holiday dinner where last year we served over 600 meals to those who didn't have a meal or a family. So you see, Pride is not just in June. To me, I tell people I'm proud 24/7, 365.
So this weekend is a celebration of Pride, and is it a ticketed event? Is it free? Tell us what people should know if they're heading out.
The weekend pass is $10. You can go to pridestl.org and order your tickets. If you don't have the $10 or it's a struggle to you, you can always scroll down and get a complimentary ticket. And for those of you out there who want to pay it forward, we'd also have the option that you can buy multiple tickets to help those people who can't afford to go to Pride.
And does that $10 pass also include Icona Pop and En Vogue?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Once you get in those festival gates, you're open to the whole festival ground. Just come on and have a great time. And most of all, come and be joyful. During these hard times, people are trying to suppress and oppress our joy, but they're never going to do that.
That is Jordan Braxton. She is the Director of Diversity Equity Outreach for Pride St. Louis, and Pride Fest is this Saturday and Sunday downtown.
Thank you. And don't forget the parade at noon on Sunday.
It's 6:27. Time check sponsored by Jerry Kelly Heating, Air Conditioning, Electrical, and Plumbing.
It's time for a $98 AC tune-up.
I'm Tom Ackerman with this month's Siteman Cancer Center Spotlight, Skin Cancer Awareness this summertime, and we're joined by Dr. Aubriana McAvoy, a WashU medicine surgeon at Siteman Cancer Center.
I always tell patients that sun protection doesn't mean you have to avoid enjoying summer. It's really about being smart and consistent with sun protection. The basics are staying in the shade, especially between those really peak hours of sunlight, 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. They make great sun protective clothing now, like shirts, wide brim hats, sunglasses, and using sunscreen regularly. My favorite sunscreen is the one that you like to wear. We generally recommend SPF 30 or higher, and they have mineral-based sunscreens with zinc oxide and titanium dioxide that are great for people with sensitive skin and young kids.
For more information, visit siteman.washu.edu.
I never thought of myself as the type to settle down. Never knew where the team's next lunch was coming from. But then I met you, Easy Cater.
Workplaces everywhere are saying, I do want delicious food at work. And they're ordering from beloved restaurants with Easy Cater.
You were reliable. You had great options for every budget, even when marketing ops did keto again. We got through that together. With you, it's just so easy. Easy Cater, will you keep showing up at my workplace forever?
Find love at first lunch. Order at easycater.com.
Why'd I go to the doctor? Working on the farm, my heart kept skipping a beat. I didn't think much of it, but my daughters made me get checked out. Turns out I have atrial fibrillation, which increases the risk of stroke about 5 times.
Symptoms like irregular heartbeat, heart racing, chest pain, shortness of breath, fatigue, or lightheadedness can come and go. But if it's AFib, the risk of stroke remains. If you have symptoms, contact a doctor.
I'm so glad I did.
Visit notimetowait.com. Sponsored by Bristol-Myers Squibb and Pfizer.
Hi, this is Steve Butts from the Crawford Butts Insurance Agency. In 2026, our agency celebrates a momentous occasion as we celebrate 65 years of service to our clients, a tribute to our founder and my dad, Nor Butts. Our staff is ready to assist you with all your insurance needs. So please call me, Steve Butts, at 314-752-2500 or at crawfordbutts.com. For auto, home, and commercial insurance needs, that's crawfordbutts.com.
If you owe the IRS, you have a legal issue, and you need the Lance Drury Law Firm. We'll protect your rights. Log on at lancedrurylaw.com.
It is 6:30, and it is time for us to get you an update of traffic and weather. First, let me tell you that it's 64 degrees, officially cloudy, although I do see a bit of sunshine downtown. I'm Debbie Monterrey.
And I'm Tom Ackerman. Here's Roger Brand in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, it's getting a little busier out there, but it's still a pretty good run for most folks if you're getting out the door, getting onto the roadways. If you're traveling on northbound Tesson Ferry, we still have a little bit of a backup about midway up from Butler Hill to Kennerly. Eastbound 30, definitely more of a congestion, more backed up coming up the hill from Mauer Industrial to 270 out west. Southbound 61, a little slow, approaching the 6470 interchange. Getting onto those highways, though, once you do it, they're both in great shape coming across the Missouri River bridges. Seeing a little roadwork slow down in a couple of spots downtown. Eastbound 5570 east of 203 briefly. Northbound 255 starting to see delays from 5570 up to Horseshoe Lake Road. Not a jam, but it is a slowdown there. And coming across westbound, it's a little busy on the Poplar Street Bridge as well. Next update at 6:40 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
The weather today, well, it starts out all right, but by the time we get to this afternoon, we're looking at a thunderstorm in parts of the area that may run through this evening. Otherwise, sun and clouds and a high of 84. Showers and thunderstorms tomorrow afternoon, again, a high of 84. We could see some showers and heavy thunderstorms tomorrow night. Right now, it is partly sunny and 64.
It's 6:31. The St. Louis County Council did not take a vote on a bill to fund the medical services contract at the jails through the end of the year. County executive says the cuts begin today.
Ahead of the contract for over half the medical staff at the jails expiring at the end of the month, the County Justice Centers for Adults and Juveniles will make serious cuts to services. Councilwoman Shalonda Webb says she continues to hold the bill providing the funding until she gets a meeting with Health Director Dr. Kanika Cunningham.
She is welcome to come to her CDL meeting with those personnel that we have asked for tomorrow and in the past so we can move forward.
Dr. Cunningham says the council has canceled previously scheduled meetings with her. She outlined some of the cuts.
Limited medicine distribution, eliminating routine sick call slips, chronic care clinics, a dramatic increase in 911 calls.
Other cuts include reducing intaking by requiring medical exams be done at hospitals and pulling correctional officers out of the facility to watch detainees receiving care at hospitals. Sean Malone, KMOX News.
I'm going to call for public hearing and as well as documents to be displayed to the public for a period of a minimum of 10 days.
That is St. Charles Area State Representative Tricia Burns introducing legislation that would require transparency on all data centers before decisions are made, especially when it includes taxpayer dollars, whether local, state, or federal.
I also want to understand the workforce. I truly want to know how many people they plan on hiring, what those conditions would be like for those employees, and what it would look like long term.
Burns tells KMOX she has seen reports from other states where they were promised a great deal of jobs that never came to fruition. Missouri State Representative Don Mayhew announcing, alongside a coalition of fellow members of the Missouri House, they're urging Governor Mike Kehoe to call a special session, and that would be addressing pressing challenges and community concerns brought on by the expansion of data centers across the state.
The news sponsored by Michael's Flooring Outlet, the flooring experts, michaelsflooringoutlet.com. Your Money Minute is next.
All access with Ollie Marble on the Gas House Gang.
I show up every day looking forward to what's next for this group. This group fits my personality to a T. I love what we're doing. I love how we're going about it. I love the honest conversations. I love the grit. And there's been certain times where I've caught myself where bases are loaded, our backs up against the wall, and I can't help but smile. I show up every day looking forward to what's next for this group.
Ollie Marble, Tuesdays at noon on KMOX.
There's nothing like hearing your friends and family clearly. A grandchild's laugh, conversation with a friend, or the punchline to a joke. Charlie Brennan here with Dr. Colleen Bosler from the Audiology Center. Dr. Bosler and her team understand that hearing is personal. That's why you'll always work with certified audiologists like Adam Voss, Bailey Campbell, and Dr. Colleen Bosler.
That's right, Charlie. We offer hearing aids from all major manufacturers, so our recommendations are based on what fits you best. With us, we follow best practice fitting methods to ensure your hearing aids are programmed precisely for your unique hearing needs. But our care doesn't end when you walk out the door. As we know, hearing aids require continued support, adjustments, and maintenance, and we offer these services at no extra cost to you. Because better hearing isn't just about devices, it's about reconnecting to the moments that matter most. Call us today at 636-441-7470 or visit us online at theaudiologycenterstl.com.
It is 6:35. This is Total Information AM. I'm Debbie Monterrey along with Tom Ackerman. And in just about 5 minutes, we'll check in with Roger on traffic and Joe on weather. But first, your money report, which is sponsored by Eamon, Gantner, and Capriano, elder law attorneys.
This is a Bloomberg Money Minute. FedEx is delivering a warning along with its packages that its expenses are increasing. FedEx says earnings will grow this year as its turnaround efforts continue. However, demand is uneven and the company is facing higher costs due to inflation. Wages are on the rise along with the expense of moving packages. Tech stocks are set to rebound this morning after yesterday's sell-off. S&P futures are rising 10 points. The recent rally in technology came to a screeching halt yesterday as investors question whether artificial intelligence-related stocks have become too expensive. And Amazon's annual Prime Day sale is off to a slow start. According to research firm Numerator, the average household spent about $89 as of yesterday afternoon. That's down about 16% from last year. Shoppers stocked up on things like trash bags and cat treats. This report is sponsored by Vanguard Investor Choice, a proxy voting program for eligible Vanguard index funds. Courtney Donahoe, Bloomberg Radio.
Bill, that's a big smile for an old politician.
I'm thinking about our plan. It's slick enough to make a lobbyist blush. First, we hoodwink voters with Amendment 5. Tell them it's a tax cut. Once they're hooked, we decide who pays the higher taxes.
So it's not a tax cut plan, and we don't get a say?
Right, just swaps who pays the tax, but it does remove 3 voter-passed taxpayer constitutional protections. That lets us levy new taxes on services, increase sales taxes, and even tax home sales. And voters will no longer get to vote on tax hikes.
Higher sales taxes on groceries, gas, service taxes on doctor visits, childcare, and even rent on apartments. Jeez. Taxes could exceed 20%.
Sure, they figure that up to 80% of taxpayers will pay more taxes. Many, hundreds more. Seniors, they'll get hit even harder, but our big donors will cut a fat hog.
The ones getting butchered by Amendment 5 are most taxpayers. I'm voting no on 5.
Paid for by Missourians for fair taxation.
My name is Whitney Allen, and I'm a widow. My husband, Ryan, died. We never thought we'd ever have to use life insurance, but the unexpected happened. With Ethos, signing up was fast and 100% online. You can get a quote in seconds, apply in minutes, and get same-day coverage. No medical exams, and you can get up to $3 million worth of coverage. I'm grateful we were prepared.
Get your free quote at ethos.com/radio. That's ethos.com/radio. Paid spokesperson. Time spent on application may vary. Online health questions required.
You just testified under oath you're getting more fiber in your diet, and it was easy. Where is this additional fiber coming from?
Mira Fiber Gummies.
Objection.
It's true. Mira Fiber has 8 grams of fiber to help me get the fiber I need in a day, plus 4 B vitamins for metabolism support, all in one serving.
Overruled.
My gut rests its case.
Oh, that's my line.
Find Mira Fiber today at your local retailer from the makers of Miralax. Mira Fiber supports metabolism of carbs, fats, and proteins. Serving size is 4 gummies.
A divorce is more than just legal paperwork. It's a life change. The stress, the uncertainty, the tough conversations. Cordell & Cordell understands what it's really like to face the unknown. The law firm of Cordell & Cordell has been representing clients during these transitions for over 35 years, helping you focus on what matters most. If you or someone you know is facing a divorce or family law matter, visit CordellCordell.com.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements. 600 Kelwood, St. Louis. Joseph Cordell, Principal Partner.
Nothing makes a gathering great like Eggland's best eggs. They're just so delicious with better nutrition, too. For us, it's eggs any style, as long as they're the best. Eggland's best. Better taste, better nutrition, better eggs.
Today, the Cards, the D-backs.
Cameron Total Access 550. First pitch 6:45.
Cardinals Radio, 104.1 FM, KMOX.
And a reminder, at noon, we have the Gas House Gang, and at 1, we have a live press conference from Busch Stadium featuring Chairman Bill DeWitt Jr., President Bill DeWitt III, Vice President of Business Operations Anouk Karunaratne, and President of Baseball Operations Hein Bloom. It is related to ownership and organizational leadership. We'll have much more live on KMOX at 1 o'clock today. Here's Roger Brand, Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, it's still not bad out there, Tom, so far. This traffic reports service of the U.S. Air Force Band of Mid-America 4th of July concert series. I do see a little slow traffic north 270, just north of Doherty Ferry. Not bad, though. South 270, south of Olive, down through Ladue. Looks like it's starting to slow down as well. Of course, the right lane's worst in those cases. On the Illinois side, we do have a jam now. Northbound on 255, right at 5570. It goes most of the way up Orgy Lake Road, slow at the front end into that construction zone. 2 right lanes closed in both directions. The northbound exit and southbound on-ramps also closed through the end of the month. And then westbound 64, west of 3rd Street to the Poplar Street Bridge is a little heavy traffic. Eastbound 70 still looks okay. Coming in through Tucker, the express lanes, of course, closed, and 44 closed between the Musial Veterans and Poplar Bridges. Little delays on northbound Tesson Ferry approaching Kennerly, and eastbound 30 slow up the hill from Mauer to 270 as well. Next update at 6:50 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Freedom 250. Join the U.S. Air Force Band of Mid-America July 1st through July 7th across St. Louis as we celebrate America's 250-year legacy with free concerts. No tickets required. Details at afbandtix.org. That's afbandtix.org.
It is 6:41. Time to check in with our AccuWeather meteorologist, Joe Lundberg. It doesn't look bad out there right now. Looks actually kind of nice, Joe.
Yeah, partly sunny. It's still relatively comfortable. The dew points, the humidity levels, they'll be coming up as the afternoon wears on, and that will feed into the risk for a thunderstorm in the area this afternoon, early evening. Not everyone's going to get one, but there'll be some of them in the area, the high 84. And that kind of quiets down overnight, partly to mostly cloudy, and it feels kind of muggy at the overnight, those 69. The humidity is going to become a constant feature of the weather, and eventually heat builds with it. Tomorrow, still only in the mid-80s with clouds and some sun. A risk for an afternoon shower or thunderstorm, about 84. Showers and heavier thunderstorms seem more likely tomorrow night and probably Friday. In fact, there's a risk for severe weather during all of this and flooding downpours. Temperatures Friday may struggle to get out of the 70s. Saturday, it gets warmer and it remains humid with clouds and sun. A pop-up thunderstorm or two, but more of the day will be rain-free. Then an upper-level ridge of high pressure takes over starting Sunday. The heat builds, partly sunny skies. We get to the mid-90s, and that's going to be a theme going into next week. Right now, 67 at St. Peter's, 70 in Florissant, 69 partly sunny downtown at the Arch. From the Saliga Heating and Cooling Weather Desk, I'm AccuWeather meteorologist Joe Lundberg on 104.1 FM KMOX.
All right, Joe, thanks very much. 6:43, sports coming your way in just 2 minutes. The 42-day quarantine has come to an end for the 18 American passengers who were exposed to the hantavirus on board the expedition cruise, the MV Hondius. 6 of them spent their entire quarantine period at the National Quarantine Unit in Nebraska. Jake Rosemarin was one of them, and he shared his experience.
We didn't have to stay in our rooms. We had to social distance and wear masks and things like that. I personally only left my room for 10 to 15 minutes a day.
A stark warning on Capitol Hill about safety in the skies. An airline industry rep claims the close calls between planes have made headlines in recent months and may only be a small portion of the number of safety scares nationwide. ABC's Hannah Battah.
The FAA insists America's skies are overwhelmingly safe, with close calls actually down this year. But the mid-air crash between a passenger plane and military helicopter over Washington last year, which killed 67 people, has prompted calls for change. Lawmakers are debating whether to require GPS-based tracking technology on planes, which can show flight crews the traffic around them.
Is there a doctor in the house? Or more specifically, is there a doctor in this space station? Well, there will be next month. July 14th, Dr. Anil Menon is scheduled to launch to the International Space Station for an 8-month mission. Dr. Menon has studied how the human body changes in space. His immediate work will involve astronaut vein structure.
ABC medical contributor Dr. Darian Sutton explains why this mission is important.
We're only beginning to understand the amount of research that's going to come out of this, because these are small steps to better understanding how space works, but also possibly bringing that science down to the ground and helping people here on Earth.
Now, the ER doctor has some experience with a space agency. He was with SpaceX as the first ever medical director, managing the health of astronauts and those who were in space flight. Now he's making good use of his neurobiology degree from Harvard, master's in mechanical engineering, and his medical degree. He's also double board certified in emergency medicine and aerospace medicine.
It is now 6:45.
All right, let's take a look at the Cardinals. First, we'll repeat what we said about 5 minutes ago in case you didn't catch it, and we've been talking about it all morning. 1 o'clock news conference today at Busch Stadium. The Cardinals call it important news related to ownership and organizational leadership. It will feature team chairman Bill DeWitt Jr. and his son, Bill DeWitt III, who is the president of the club. We also will hear from Anouk Karunaratne, who is the vice president of business operations, and Chaim Bloom, the president of baseball operations. The Cardinals played a game last night featuring Kyle Leahy, and he actually pitched quite well. He went 6 1/3 scoreless. In fact, this game was scoreless until the 9th inning, when the Diamondbacks scored 4 runs in the top of the 9th off Matt Swanson. The Cardinals answered with 3 runs in the bottom of the 9th, but came up just short, and they lost the game 4-3. With more on the Redbirds, here's KMOX's Matt Pauley.
It's been a whirlwind few weeks for Max Radjic. Shortly after being named the Cardinals minor league pitcher of the month for May, he gets his first big league opportunity, making his debut this past weekend with 2 appearances against the Royals in Kansas City. He makes his Busch Stadium debut in the team's 4-3 loss to the Diamondbacks, collecting 5 outs while not giving up a hit or a run. Manager Oliver Marmol believes Radjic can help this team.
He got after it, man. We're going to continue to put him in situations. We trust him. He's got the arsenal to go out there, and the demeanor, and he doesn't scare. But he did a really nice job of going in there and relieving Leahy and giving us an extra inning. It was good.
It's Radjic's first hitless and scoreless outing after giving up runs in each game that he appeared against the Royals. At Busch Stadium, Matt Pauley, KMOX Sports.
The Gateway Grizzlies lost their 4th consecutive game on Tuesday night at Arsenal BG Ballpark to the Florence Yalls by a final score of 10-7. With an update from the Grizzlies for KMOX Sports, I'm the voice of the Grizzlies, Jason Garrett. Hank Seisler's 2-run home run in the top of the first off of Ben Harris staked the Yalls to an early lead, and while Gateway got a run back in the bottom of the first, they would leave 8 total men on base in the first 4 innings, failing to secure the tying run. In the 6th inning, a 2-run shot by Davey Morgan to right field tied the game at 3, but Harris would surrender a 2-run go-ahead home run to Yalls shortstop Dylan Baker, his 6th in 4 games in Sauget this season, to give the lead right back. Gateway's bullpen would allow 5 more runs in the final 2 innings, nullifying a 4-run comeback attempt in the bottom of the 8th. The Grizzlies will look to get back in the win column in the middle game of the series on Wednesday night at 6:30 p.m. Central Time. All the action can be heard on the Grizzlies Media Network, powered by Odyssey.com and the free Odyssey app.
The Blues traded Jordan Kyrou to the Washington Capitals yesterday, receiving the number 16 overall pick in the upcoming NHL draft, meaning they now have 4 picks in the first round. Kyrou goes to the Caps. The Blues also get young forward Connor McMichael. He's 25, and 19-year-old prospect Milton Gastrin. He was a member of a Swedish league team, a center, and the Blues get 3 players for Kyrou and now own 4 first-round picks in the draft. In the NBA draft, BYU freshman forward A.J. DeBansa went first to the Washington Wizards. This was last night. The Utah Jazz followed. They picked Kansas freshman guard Darren Peterson. Memphis went third. They took Duke freshman Cameron Boozer. Fourth was the Chicago Bulls. They picked North Carolina freshman forward Caleb Wilson. And another freshman went fifth, Keaton Wagler from Illinois. He goes to the Clippers. Who's Hot, Who's Not, sponsored by St. Louis Composting, growing gardens and making memories. It would be a good idea to go to stlcompost.com and pick out your favorite mulch or soil or compost. They have it all at St. Louis Composting. They're actually out of the Black Forest mulch, they just said. So they're down 1. But they have a whole menu of products that you can go to right now at stlcompost.com. We chose the dark walnut enhanced mulch. It is really good. Now, you can, for a cubic yard calculator, determine exactly how much mulch you need, but just by clicking on that calculator, and you can put in the dimensions of where you need the mulch, and they will deliver it to your home, stlcompost.com. Or you can visit one of their 9 locations, back up your truck or trailer, and they will load you up, and off you go. They also, as I said, have soil and compost. St. Louis Composting, growing gardens, making memories.
If you are looking for a place for independent living for older adults, the place is Fairwinds River's Edge in St. Charles. It was voted U.S. News and World Report's best independent living for 5 consecutive years. They have social events for the residents there, wellness programs. Just go to fairwindsriversedge.com. Schedule a tour and hear about all of the great new updated spaces, all the dining, the social events, the best. fairwindsriversedge.com.
Get ready for a night back with legendary hits and non-stop energy. Brian Adams is bringing the Roll with a Bunches tour to Enterprise Center Friday, July 24th.
Hello, this is Brian Adams.
Sing along to the classics as Brian Adams delivers an unforgettable night of rock anthems. Plus, special guests Pat Benatar and Neil Girardo. Brian Adams, July 24th. For more info, KMOX.com/events.
Broadcasting from the Scott Credit Union Studio, 104.1 FM KMOX. Debbie Monterrey, Megan Lynch, Tom Ackerman. Total Information AM on 104.1 FM KMOX.
It is 6:51. Let's check your ride in right now. Hopefully everything's fine. Roger Brand's keeping his eye on things in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Yeah, we're still doing all right. Just a few more slowdowns out there, Debbie. This traffic reports the service of Overhead Door Company of St. Louis. If you're on northbound 270, it's a little busy right through that Tesson Ferry Sappington stretch, north of Big Bend, running through Doherty Ferry. Southbound 270, a more solid slowdown running from about Olive down to Highway 64 out west. Eastbound 70, Lake St. Louis through Bryan. Or it looks like we had an incident just east of Bryan, so it's sort of congested there. South 170, the Parkway down to 64. That looks a little slow as well. Still seeing shorter backups on Tesson Ferry northbound approaching Kennerly. Eastbound 30, a little busy around Mauer, but doesn't look as bad coming up the hill to 270. On the Illinois side, a little slowdown. Eastbound 5570, east of 203, and northbound 255 is on the brakes at 5570, pretty much all the way up into that work zone at Horseshoe Lake Road. Call Overhead Door Company of St. Louis for their 26-point tune-up. It's one price for up to 3 garage doors and openers. Always look for the genuine, the original red ribbon of Overhead Door Company of St. Louis. Schedule online at overheaddoorsstlouis.com. Next update at 6:58 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
A pretty nice day right now, Roger, and it'll stay that way. We may get a thunderstorm in parts of the area through early evening, says AccuWeather's Joe Lundberg, high 84. Warm and humid overnight, low 69. Tomorrow, a threat of thunderstorms in the evening with a high of 84. It's 64 right now.
The news continues at 6:53. A Maryland Heights company is agreeing to pay for poisoning children with lead and other toxic substances. Doe Run Resources will pay $150 million for toxins released at its plant in Peru. Lead, arsenic, cadmium, and other substances known to cause health risks, although the company says that was largely before Doe Run owned it. According to the Post-Dispatch, a 2005 St. Louis University study showed nearly all the children in La Arroya, Peru, had levels of lead in their blood. Doe Run locally ran a smelter in Herculaneum, which closed in 2013. It also faced lawsuits there over lead contamination.
Secretary of State and State Librarian Alexi Janulius announces $27 million in public and school library grants and says the state is doubling down on funding at a critical time for libraries.
As libraries nationwide face uncertainty amid efforts by the Trump administration to dismantle the Institute of Museum and Library Services, the primary federal agency supporting our libraries, Illinois is moving in the opposite direction.
By the way, who knew that he was the state librarian?
Right, that's a great title.
I know, you want to be. We got to make you the state librarian. Janulius, who, by the way, has a decent jump shot, says the multi-million-dollar investment will go to strengthen local infrastructure, upgrade tech, and enhance safety in the Chicago public library system and within school libraries. It'll cover 640 public libraries and more than 2,500 school libraries.
The Magic House in St. Louis has a new strategic plan. As KMOX's Megan Lynch tells us, it focuses on the serious business of play.
The president of the Magic House says traditional play is starting to disappear from children's lives. It's being replaced by screen time.
Research is starting to show that this is really having a devastating impact on children's social, emotional, and neurological development.
Beth Fitzgerald tells KMOX's Total Information AM the strategic plan is called Play Together. That 3-year plan will focus on outreach to families and schools, as well as on creating more opportunities for the region's kids to interact through play. Megan Lynch, KMOX News.
More than 160 young people will learn more about building things at a construction forum today. It's the 5th annual Yeah, I Built That hands-on construction showcase for middle school, high school, and young adults. It's put on by the St. Louis Development Corporation and the Construction Forum, a nonprofit dedicated to collaboration among those working in the built environment.
Students get a chance to meet people and companies in the construction industry and get up close and personal with big construction equipment. The event is taking place today at the William Harrison Center on Cass Avenue.
I heard it's somebody's birthday.
Birthday excitement. It's your birthday.
I think at this point, he has proven to be the greatest soccer player ever. He is 39 years old today. He recently broke the World Cup goals record. Lionel Messi is 39.
The birthday shout out is sponsored by Renner Garage Door, RENNER, forward and back. If you have a birthday or anniversary you'd like us to announce in this segment, just email it to totalam@kmox.com, totalam@kmox.com. Make sure to include the date that you want it announced. Happy birthday wishes going out to John Patrick from the Spring family. Also, happy birthday wishes to Patrick Tyberski, Lindsay Patton, and Ellen Sewell.
This is the best birthday ever.
Hi, I'm Chuck McDowell, the timeshare cancellation guy and founder of Wesley Financial Group. And I want to set the record straight. I am not an attorney. I've never wanted to be an attorney. And the truth is, I really don't even like attorneys. If I sound like an attorney, I'll apologize. But what I've learned in my 15 years in the timeshare cancellation business is you don't need to be an attorney to get folks out of their timeshare. After 15 years and over 50,000 cancellations, I can tell you with confidence, we know how to get you out of your timeshare. Call us today and we'll send you our timeshare exit guide absolutely free with all your options for cancellation. Attorneys, this was meant to be funny, so please don't sue me, especially my friend Kenneth from Black River Falls, Wisconsin.
Call now for your free timeshare exit info kit. 800-838-6767. 800-838-6767. 800-838-6767.
Ouch! Checked from behind. Man, that's gotta hurt. I'd hire Morgan & Morgan if I were them. What? Yeah, Dan, America's largest injury law firm. They serve up justice, ice, cold, law. Know what I mean? I guess. Their gloves come off when they fight for you. Okay. I'm talking a settlement slapshot. Shouldn't we be talking about the game? Yeah, Dan. Morgan & Morgan.
Proud partner of the St. Louis Blues. Injured? Dial Pound Law or visit forthepeople.com for an office near you.
The legendary Fast Eddie at Fast Eddie's Bon Air and St. Louis baseball legend Jason Isringhausen. Izzy, what's going on, man?
You know what, Eddie boy, I've been pretty busy. Got to get out there and got to do the mowing.
Yep, I'll tell you what, when you get done mowing the grass.
Well, I do my best Forrest Gump impression with all that mowing I have to do around the property.
Do it for St. Louis, do it.
Like Mama said, life is like a box of chocolates. You never know what you're going to get, except at Fast Eddie's Bon Air. What are we going to get at Fast Eddie's?
Let me get it right. You can come on over to Fast Eddie's Bar Bon Air, located on the other side of Clark Bridge in beautiful Alton, Illinois. When you're done mowing the grass, come over here and lounge around with me on the beautiful outdoor patio with all the big screens, the live music playing, the hot chick on a stick.
What about that fancy surf and turf you came up with?
Man, I'm telling you what, that is meat and seafood on one stick. And it's called the Eddie. It's the king of all foods.
Like Mr. Shannon always said, if you're 21 and in the mood, come on over to that Clark Bridge and come see Fast Eddie's Bon Air in beautiful Alton, Illinois.
Hey, let's check the roads. Roger Brand of the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, Tom, northbound 270 slow through Tesson Ferry to Sappington, Doherty Ferry up to Manchester, southbound 270 delays Olive to Ladue, westbound 64 Big Bend to Hanley slow, south 170 delays at the Parkway, and northbound 255 jam 5570 to Horseshoe Lake. Next update at 7:10 from the Overhead Door Company St. Louis Traffic Center.
Today is Wednesday. It is June 24th. I'm Debbie Monterrey.
I'm Sean Malone with no resolution between the county council and the health department over whether to fund nurses at the jails through the remainder of the year. Cuts are coming. I've got that story coming up.
I'm Tom Ackerman. A Missouri state representative is going to introduce legislation on data centers and transparency. We will get more next hour.
This is KMOX religion editor Fred Bodimer, taking the pulse of American Catholics on how they feel about Pope Leo XIV. That story is coming up.
It is 64 degrees with partly cloudy skies downtown.
The trusted voice of St. Louis. KMOX AM St. Louis. KMOX FM Hazelwood. Always live on the free Odyssey app.
ABC News, I'm Sherry Preston. More back and forth over when international inspectors will get a look at Iran's nuclear sites after the head of the UN's nuclear agency said inspectors will go in. An Iranian diplomat has just now said that won't happen until there is a final deal. Yesterday, President Trump reacted after Iran said inspectors would not be going in anytime soon.
They're wrong. They're wrong. They're wrong. They know they're wrong. They told us inside, and we have it down 100% inspections. And if they were right, I'd cancel the meetings right now.
The Senate, for the first time, passing a war powers resolution. Louisiana Republican Bill Cassidy, one of 4 in the GOP who voted yes.
We are elected representatives. And the need to communicate with the American people and with the Congress, I hope that they will understand that that is what's involved here.
The president calls it meaningless. A judge in San Francisco barring federal officials from making arrests in immigration court. This is ABC News. 5 days after a Houston area grandma was killed when a Tesla rammed through her home, her relatives have filed suit against both the driver of the car and the automaker in Dallas. Here's ABC's Jim Ryan.
The driver of the car that crashed through the front of a home, killing a 76-year-old woman, says his Tesla was in autopilot mode. Tesla refutes that. For the woman's family,
we're still in a fact-finding mode.
Attorney Chris Adkins says the car itself may provide the answers, and he wants Tesla to preserve all the data sent from the car back to the company at the time of the crash.
Mainly, we're alleging a product defect and a failure to warn on Tesla's part.
And negligence on the part of the driver, 44-year-old Michael Butler. Jim Ryan, ABC News.
The heat wave in Western Europe drags on. Paris is expected to hit 103 degrees today. In London, it could be 102. Because there's no air conditioning, people are being encouraged not to take trains. And Amazon says sales of air conditioners to Europe have doubled from last year at this time. Sherry Preston, ABC News.
It is 7:02, and we have partly cloudy skies right now in downtown St. Louis, 66 degrees. I'm Debbie Monterrey.
And I'm Tom Ackerman. No vote on funding the County Justice Center healthcare workers, but plenty of arguing yesterday between the St. Louis County Council and County Executive. For weeks, County Health Director Kanika Cunningham has been warning the public if the council does not approve funding that they cut for healthcare workers at the jail, services would be slashed. Acting Justice Services Director, Captain Tim Ware.
Department of Justice Services' ability to accept detainees at the jail will be drastically reduced. Without nurses to conduct medical screening, police departments will be required to take arrestees to the hospital for medical clearance before we can accept them.
The council held the bill last week due to a lack of a meeting with Health Director Dr. Kanika Cunningham. Tuesday, a verbal argument broke out between Sam Page and Council Chair Rita Hurd-Days because she wouldn't allow Page to speak. There's a 10 o'clock hearing scheduled for today with Councilwoman Shalonda Webb.
If we're making decisions for our communities because of future employment, I want to make sure that we have true information on that.
That's Missouri State Representative in St. Charles, Tricia Burns, on her legislation that calls for transparency on all levels for data centers before anything is approved. She points to reports from other states that showed there would be large numbers of jobs that never panned out. Burns tells KMOX she hopes this puts Missouri on the road of a smart policy.
It's balanced and it allows communities to have the leverage and the ability to work within a framework. Right now, a lot of these communities don't have planning and zoning. So something at the state level would create great, smart policy for development that, number one, has the community weighing in and involves transparency.
Burns also wants clawback, so if there are state and tax dollars involved and promises are not kept, communities should be able to take that money back.
A school bus driver facing dozens of charges due to her alleged actions prior to driving a bus full of kids.
Donna Brennan of Crystal City is charged with 37 counts of endangering the welfare of a child and 1 count of DWI after she was allegedly caught drinking a Coors Light on the bus prior to driving over 3 dozen children back in February. A probable cause statement says that Brennan was caught drinking Coors Light in the parking lot of Cade's Playground in Herculaneum. A breathalyzer determines her blood alcohol level to be 0.029. Brennan was a driver with the Dunklin R5 school district and was driving a bus where 37 of the 40 people on board were under the age of 17. In a statement, the Dunklin R5 school district said Brennan was immediately terminated on the day of the incident, adding they notified parents at the time. Sean Malone, KMOX News.
The FAA has been called in to investigate a plane crash near Bismarck, Missouri. The plane went down just before 10:30 yesterday morning at Lake Avalon Road. In a Facebook posting, St. Francis County Sheriff Jeff Kreitz reports there were no injuries. St. Francis deputies have Lake Avalon Road closed indefinitely.
Missouri now has 2 men accused of being part of the alleged plot to attack a White House event earlier this month.
The U.S. Justice Department says 28-year-old Jordan Rinker of Northwest Missouri's St. Joseph is accused of planning to target government leaders and other high-profile people at an ultimate fighting event. 32-year-old Daniel Eskridge of nearby Kidder was arrested earlier this month in connection with the group planning to use explosive drones and other weapons in the June 14th attack. Rinker and Eskridge are 2 of 7 men who have been charged in the alleged plan. Elisa Nelson, Missouri Net.
3 cyclists died due to vehicle crashes last year, marking the city's first cycling fatality since 2022. That's according to Eric Helmer, the author of TrailNet's State of Our Streets report that was published on Monday. Helmer says arterial roads, including Gravois, remain especially dangerous for residents.
When we see those kinds of numbers, what I think we're seeing is the fact that all sorts of different people are using those streets in different ways, and it's creating these conflicts between vulnerable road users and drivers.
Nearly 85% of pedestrian and 66% of cyclist fatalities occurred on arterial roads last year.
Hey, we didn't include this in our birthday segment a few minutes ago, but happy birthday, Forest Park. Forest Park is celebrating its 150th birthday, so if you visit Forest Park, you should know that to celebrate the milestone, there's events being planned throughout the day and the week around the park. You can enjoy live music, free food and drinks, roller skating during tonight's birthday party at the Boathouse's pop-up location. That's going on from 4 to 7.
Best park in the country. I'll put it up against anybody, so there's no question about that. Happy birthday, Forest Park. More than 160 young people will learn more about building things at a construction forum today. It's the 5th annual I Built That hands-on construction showcase for middle school, high school, and young adults. It's put on by the St. Louis Development Corporation and the Construction Forum, a nonprofit dedicated to collaboration among those working in the built environment. Students get a chance to meet people and companies in the construction industry and get up close and personal with big construction equipment. Well, I want to do that.
Me too.
This is at the William Harrison Center on Cass Avenue.
We are going to take a break. When we come back, we'll check traffic and weather. And a man who was wrongly sent to prison solely on the false testimony of 2 St. Louis police officers will not get any money from the city. We'll explain coming up at 7:08.
It's not your typical game day look. Sunday, June 28th at Busch Stadium, the Cardinals face the Miami Marlins, and fans can receive a soccer-style Cardinals jersey presented by Purina. Clean, sporty, and unmistakably Cardinals, it brings a fresh energy to the ballpark from first pitch on, and kids take home a vibrant Cardinals soccer ball to keep the action going long after the final out. 2 ways to play, one big Sunday. Get tickets at cardinals.com/promotions.
Every Sunday home game is a Kids Sunday at Busch Stadium. From Team Fredbird and games to a kid-friendly DJ, ice cream, and family favorite activities. Sundays are built for young fans. Plus, select Sundays feature kids run the bases after the game. It's a day made for smiles, memories, and Cardinals baseball together. Make Sundays your family tradition at Busch Stadium. Tickets and details at cardinals.com/KidsSunday.
Amendment 4 on the August ballot hides some ugly facts. It would create a new minority veto power, but only for ballot issues that are citizen-led.
I just say no to that.
Amendment 4 permanently ends majority rule for citizen-led ballot issues.
I'm a no on 4.
Politicians put Amendment 4 on the ballot to severely limit citizens' constitutional power.
I say no on 4.
4 is a power grab by politicians. It lets one congressional district veto reforms backed by the majority of voters statewide, giving as few as 5% of voters control over the rest of us.
That's why I say no to 4.
4 would make it nearly impossible to rein in out-of-control politicians.
I say heck no.
4 takes away our constitutional power we've used for over 100 years to pass reforms that politicians wouldn't. Keep majority rule and your power. Just say no to Amendment 4. It's an ugly politician power grab. Paid for by Missourians for Fair Governance.
This hour of Total Information AM is sponsored by Gamma Tree Experts.
710, Roger Brand in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, Tom, we still don't look bad out there. I mean, it's a little busy in spots, but all in all, no big deal. If you're on northbound 270, you've just got slow traffic basically up the hill from Doherty Ferry to Manchester. South 270, Olive down to the work zone at Ladue. You've got some backed up traffic in the right lanes. The other lanes are slow. The right lanes are also slowing on westbound 64, Big Bend out through Hanley to the Inner Belt. Downtown, we have some slow traffic westbound 64, Baugh Avenue to the Poplar. Eastbound 70 downtown, still looking good coming in from Salisbury to Tucker. So no backup with the lack of the express lanes and, of course, the closure of 44 between the Poplar and Mutual Veterans Bridges. And we do have that roadwork jam on northbound 255 from 5570 most of the way up to Horseshoe Lake Road. Again, the right lanes, 2 right lanes closed both directions at that location, and the northbound exit ramp closed there as well. Southbound on-ramp is also shut down. Next update is 720 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
A mix of sun and clouds today and becoming more humid for the afternoon hours. Watch out for an afternoon or evening thunderstorm as well. The high 84. Partly to mostly cloudy, warm and sticky overnight, low 69. For tomorrow, more clouds and sun and humid. Look for a shower or thunderstorm in the afternoon, high 84. Some showers and heavier thunderstorms tomorrow night can produce damaging winds and cause flash flooding. For Friday, mostly cloudy and humid. A couple of showers and heavy thunderstorms, the high 79. From the Saliga Heating and Cooling Weather Desk, I'm AccuWeather meteorologist Joe Lundberg on 104.1 FM KMOX.
Right now, we've got sunshine, and it looks like a lot of those clouds have moved out of the area. So I'm calling it mostly sunny downtown and 66 degrees.
Cardinals have called a news conference for 1 o'clock. The Blues trade Jordan Kyrou. It's all coming up in sports in 3 minutes. The city of St. Louis doesn't have to pay a man wrongly convicted on federal drug crimes, according to the Missouri Supreme Court. Michael Holmes always maintained his innocence and served 5 years of a 25-year sentence until it turned out 2 police officers who arrested him in 2003 lied in his case and engaged in repeated misconduct. But the high court overturned Holmes' $2.5 million settlement awarded by a federal jury, saying the city is exempt under the legal doctrine of sovereign immunity. That's according to a report in the Post-Dispatch.
Most American Catholics have a favorable view about the first American Pope, Leo XIV, but as KMOX religion editor Fred Bottomer reports, opinions are mixed when it comes to the Pope's approach to the Trump administration.
A little more than a year after his election, 78% of U.S. Catholic adults have a favorable view of Pope Leo, down slightly from 84% last summer. Pew researcher Patricia Tevington says that same group, though, is split down partisan lines about the war of words between the Pope and President Trump over immigration issues and military action in Iran.
So among Catholics who are Democrats or lean Democratic, 70% said that Trump has been too critical of Leo, and only about a third of Catholic Republicans say the same. On the other side, about 4 in 10 Catholic Republicans say that Pope Leo has been too critical of the Trump administration, and just 3% of Catholic Democrats say that Pope Leo has been too critical of Trump.
Politics aside, most Catholics have positive views of Pope Leo. But Catholic Democrats and independents who lean Democrat expressed somewhat more favorable views of Leo than Catholic Republicans and Republican leaners do. Fred Bottomer, KMOX News.
Did we ever determine if the Pope is a Bears fan? I know he's a White Sox fan.
I know that. Yeah, no,
Yeah.
I don't ever remember football being spoken.
I don't know.
He's a baseball fan.
His dad was a Cardinals fan. And as for Chicago and the Bears,
we don't want to raise taxes on the people of Illinois.
Governor J.B. Pritzker on keeping the Bears in the land of Lincoln.
We have offered infrastructure support, which is actually most of what the Bears have been asking for. And so we think we're actually as close as anybody to getting a stadium done here. I don't think Indiana is a whole heck of a lot closer than we are.
Pritzker says it's up to the Bears as to where they want to be, but he admits Illinois fans will be terribly disappointed if
the Chicago Bears, in whom we have all for 100 years invested our personal equity in by just being fans and by showing up at games and supporting them, are going to see our team get up and leave the state of Illinois.
A team of St. Louis University pilots took off yesterday in the all-women air race classic. The 4-day race covers 2,500 miles. Teammate and recent graduate Jocelyn Ciotti is the first pilot in her family.
They are loving it. They're very excited to track the whole race. They're very excited for the career that I have ahead. They are over the moon.
Recent SLU grad Sydney Nimerick is the lead pilot. Sophomore Bella Castro also on the team. The race, which dates back almost 100 years, begins at St. Louis Regional Airport and ends in Mount Vernon, Illinois this Friday.
With Ricky Gordon, I'm John Rooney. Last night, Jordan Walker lost the ball in the lights. It proved to be a base hit in medium right, and that was the beginning of a 4-run top of the ninth inning for Arizona. The Cardinals answered with 3, but came up a run short as the Diamondbacks evened the series with a 4-3 win.
Cardinals worked very hard to get the potential tying run on base, some big hits in the ninth inning, but the top of the ninth inning, a little bit sloppy. Again, that ball dropped in front of Walker. He just couldn't see it, and then things just spiraled after that. But really good starts from both their starter, Rodriguez, and the Cardinals starter, Kyle Leahy.
Max Radzik had a good go of it in his home Major League debut as he put up 0.
Very competitive appearance from Max Radzik. He was very sharp.
Let's see what Matthew Liberatore can do after a very brief outing in Kansas City his last time out. He'll go tonight against the Diamondbacks, airtime 5:50. But I'll bring you the first pitch at 6:45 in Game 3 of the series.
With more, here's KMOX's Matt Pauley.
It's a clear step forward for pitcher Kyle Leahy, who throws a career-high 6 1/3 shutout innings, giving the Cardinals their second longest scoreless outing from a starter this year. He gives up 3 hits, all doubles. He only strikes out 3, but he utilizes the strikeout to get out of multiple runner at third, less than 2-out situations. Manager Oliver Marmol thinks highly of the start.
They did really well and kept the pitch count down in order to go back out there. But really nice job by Kyle. He didn't get ahead of a whole lot of guys today, but still made pitches when needed. A lot of the misses were close. But overall, man, the mix was good. I like him stranding those runners early with the punch out up top and then the front hip sinker to get him looking there. But that was a really impressive outing by him. So something we need to continue to build off of, but solid.
In what turns into a 4-3 loss for the Cardinals against the Diamondbacks, Leahy does not factor into the decision. He has just 1 decision in his last 6 starts after a decision in 9 of his first 14. At Busch Stadium, Matt Pauley, KMOX Sports.
The Cardinals have called a press conference for 1 o'clock this afternoon. We will carry it live on KMOX. The team says it is important news related to ownership and organizational leadership. It will feature Chairman Bill DeWitt Jr., his son and president of the team, Bill DeWitt III, the vice president of business operations, Anouk Karunaratne, and president of baseball operations, Chaim Bloom. The Cardinals, with that news following the Blues announcing that they made a trade, Jordan Kyrou goes to the Washington Capitals in exchange for 3 players. The Blues now have 4 first-round picks this weekend in the NHL draft. 4 picks, 11, 15, 16, and 29. Will they use them all? Will they keep them all and acquire more talent? We'll see. But for Kyrou, they get forwards Connor McMichael and Milton Gastrin. McMichael's 25. He has NHL experience. Gastrin is 19. the Swedish player, highly thought of internationally, and then the 16th overall selection in the NHL draft. Keaton Wagler picked 5th overall in the NBA draft. The Illinois freshman goes to the LA Clippers. Cut of the Game was sponsored by The Diamond Shop, thediamondshop.net. I'm Tom Ackerman on the home of the Cardinals, 104.1 FM, KMOX.
You feel it every time you check out. Prices up, paychecks stretched, families squeezed. That's why Ann Wagner's fighting to get government off your back and out of your way. Wagner passed the largest tax cut in American history, expanded child tax credits, ended taxes on tips, overtime, and Social Security. And Wagner is working to lower costs so families keep more of their hard-earned money. But Ann Wagner knows delivering for Missouri means more than just protecting their wallets. It means protecting our streets as well. That's why Wagner fought to secure our border, deport dangerous illegal aliens, partner with law enforcement, and put predators behind bars and off our streets so our neighborhoods and communities stay safe. Because real effective leadership protects what matters most: your money, your family, your safety. Ann Wagner for Congress.
I'm Ann Wagner, and I approve this message.
Paid for by Ann Wagner for Congress.
Hey, McKelvey Homes has some great areas throughout the St. Louis area. We're talking about St. Louis County, St. Charles County, everywhere from Afton to O'Fallon, Missouri to Cottleville and all parts in between. They do a tremendous job of giving back to the community as well. This is Tom Ackerman for McKelvey Homes. I have known the president of McKelvey Homes, Jim Brennan, for a long time. And boy, McKelvey's been around for a really long time, since 1898. You can enjoy, when you move up to a McKelvey home, $78,000 in savings on select homes in beautiful St. Louis communities. Folks, that's a lot of money. Beautiful homes, prime locations, personalized service, and save up to $78,000. That's through this summer. All you have to do is go to McKelveyhomes.com to get started. One of the best websites you'll see. They have videos, they have photos, they have explanations, they have savings, they have communities throughout the St. Louis area. They're McKelvey Homes. McKelveyhomes.com. Move up to McKelvey.
Your morning news and information. Total Information AM.
7:21. We've got sunshine, so just be aware as you leave the house. Hopefully it won't be in your eyes as you're driving in. Let's get the latest on the roadways from Roger Brand. He's in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, it's busier, Debbie, on Highway 64 right now. It looks like we may have an incident. I can't see it, but westbound 64 at Big Bend. There's a solid jam from almost the Science Center out to that point. Still slow to Hanley, and eastbound 64 is slow. 170 into that Big Bend area right now as well. If you're on southbound 270 approaching Olive down to Ladue, that's slow. Northbound 270, busy as you ramp on with the 55 traffic. It's bogged down from Tesson Ferry to Gravois and then 44 up to Manchester. But after that, it's not bad. Still looks good out west. Southbound 61, eastbound 64 and 70 coming in from the split in Wentzville. No delays. Approaching the Missouri River bridges. Eastbound 30 slow, Mauer to 270. Northbound Tesson Ferry, a little bit of a backup at Kennerly. On the Illinois side, westbound 64, Ball Avenue to the 70 split slow. Eastbound 5570 a little slow down east of 203, and northbound 255 is on the brakes. 5570 headed up to Horseshoe Lake Road. Westbound 64 also is slow at 159. Next update at 7:30 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Seen more bees, wasps, or hornets around your home? Carpenter bees can damage wood structures, and wasps and hornets often hide nests inside walls. Don't risk getting stung. Let Rottler Pest Solutions protect your home and family. Call Rottler today or visit rottler.com.
It's going to be a pretty nice day today, at least to start. So we've got sunshine now, sun and clouds much of the day. Then this afternoon, a thunderstorm in parts of the area through early evening, a high of 84 degrees. Tomorrow, a shower or thunderstorm around in the afternoon with a high of 84, but then some showers and heavy thunderstorms moving through tomorrow night. Those could produce some damaging winds, maybe flash flooding. Showers and heavy thunderstorms on Friday as well. Right now, it's sunny downtown and 66 degrees. It is going to be a busy weekend in downtown St. Louis, and one of the big celebrations, of course, is Pride Fest. Jordan Braxton is the Director of Diversity, Equity, and Outreach for Pride St. Louis. Thanks for joining us.
Well, good morning. Thanks for inviting me.
Where is it this year, and what's going on?
This is our 14th year being in the heart of downtown St. Louis. And people can expect just a lot of joy and happiness and community and family-friendly events. Let's start on what's happening on Saturday. So Saturday at 9:30, we're meeting at Keener Plaza for what we're calling a rally for our rights. We're meeting there, and then we're going to marching down Market to have a rally on the steps of City Hall because, right now our community is under attack for trans rights, queer rights, voting rights, body autonomy, abortion rights. So we all fight for that together. And then after that, we move to Soldiers Memorial, where we have our wreath-laying ceremony as we honor our fallen LGBTQI veterans because, queer people fought in the wars too. And then main stage starts at 2:00. And then we have AJ and Allie. Those are headliners on Saturday. And then Sunday, of course, we move to the big parade, the big shebang, which we start at 10th and Market and go down to 15th and Market. And we have so many beautiful floats and walking groups and entries. And Sunday's the big day. I can't forget that at 10 a.m. we have our worship service on the festival grounds. All the churches come together and we have a morning worship service. And then at 2:00, main stage begins, and we end the day with Icona Pop. And then, of course, one of the best girl groups of all time, En Vogue.
Oh, I know. I couldn't believe it. En Vogue. Back in my early DJ days, I played a lot of it.
Oh my God. Free Your Mind. All those great songs. I can't wait.
Last year, the year before, there was a major push to get people to contribute to the Pride celebrations because, unfortunately, a lot of previous sponsors, corporate sponsors, decided to pull out because of the political situation. What are things looking like this year?
There has still been some, I'm not going to lie, there has still been some corporations that decided not to return, some that reduced their amounts of their sponsorships, but we have smaller mom and pop and local businesses and community that have stepped up to fill that gap. And I always remind people that Pride started as a protest. We were here long before corporations got into the play, before they started bidding on our pink dollars. So Pride festivals and Pride events have always been community focused. And that's what we're returning to, focus in our community. You'll see on our main stage a lot more of community events. Community organizations. You'll see a lot more in the parade of focusing and highlighting and put our community organizations on front. Because that's what built Pride. Community built Pride. And we have never forgotten that at Pride St. Louis. And as you see some of our year-round activities that we do, we're giving back to the community. We have scholarships that we've given out. We have a community give back fund where we last spring funded 2 initiatives in our community. And we also do a Thanksgiving and holiday dinner where last year we served over 600 meals to those who didn't have a meal or a family. So you see, Pride is not just in June. To me, I tell people I'm proud 24/7, 365.
So this weekend is a celebration of Pride, and is it a ticketed event? Is it free? Tell us what people should know if they're heading out.
The weekend pass is $10. You can go to pridestl.org and order your tickets. If you don't have the $10 or it's a struggle to you, you can always scroll down and get a complimentary ticket. And for those of you out there who want to pay it forward, we'd also have the option that you can buy multiple tickets to help those people who can't afford to go to Pride.
And does that $10 pass also include Icona Pop and En Vogue?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Once you get in those festival gates, you're open to the whole festival ground. Just come on and have a great time. And most of all, come and be joyful. During these hard times, people are trying to suppress and oppress our joy, but they're never going to do that.
That is Jordan Braxton. She is the Director of Diversity Equity Outreach for Pride St. Louis. And Pride Fest is this Saturday and Sunday downtown.
Thank you. And don't forget the parade at noon on Sunday.
It's 7:27. Time check sponsored by Jerry Kelly Heating, Air Conditioning, Electrical, and Plumbing.
It's time for a $98 AC tune-up.
This weekend, you probably have plans. I don't know. There's a lot going on. And if your backyard setup is not the greatest, like say it's raining, do you have a cool place to hang out? Like maybe a nice deck with an overhang or a sunroom, screen room, patio with a pergola, or I don't know. You've probably been to your neighbor's house and they've got a great setup and you're thinking, why don't I have that? Well, call Chesterfield Fence and Deck. They can do amazing work. And the best thing about Chesterfield Fence and Deck is it's going to be quality work that's going to last for years to come. And to me, that's a real value. No sense in plunking down some money and the whole project's splintering and warping and falling apart after one season, because, we've all seen that happen. Chesterfield Fence and Deck is the sign you have the very best. Mention me, Debbie Monterrey, and they will take 20% off your next outdoor project. Visit them in the Chesterfield Valley or online now at chesterfieldfence.com.
When it comes to your hearing, you deserve expert care. At the Audiology Center, you're treated by certified audiologists Dr. Colleen Bosler, Dr. Adam Foss, and Dr. Bailey Campbell, meaning 8 years of advanced education, clinical expertise, and a commitment to best practices.
Charlie, we offer hearing aids from all major manufacturers, so you get what's best for you. Every patient receives individualized testing, precise fittings using real ear measurements, and personalized programming to ensure your hearing aids perform exactly as they should. And our care doesn't stop once you leave the office. We're committed to helping your hearing aids last through ongoing adjustments, maintenance, and long-term support at no extra cost. Better hearing is personal, not one size fits all. Call us today at 636-441-7470 or visit us online at theaudiologycenterstl.com. And let's take that first step together.
Staples presents Celebrations Made Easy.
I was throwing a party for the twins and had custom invites and a banner printed at Staples. And that's when I saw Party City is now at Staples.
Party City? No way!
So now Staples has all your printing needs and everything you need for a party.
Everything times 2.
And now at Staples, save 25% on all custom banners.
Party City is now at Staples.
That was easy.
Shop Staples in-store, online, or on the app. Some banners available same day when ordered by 12 p.m. Pins 8-1 exclusions apply.
You just testified under oath you're getting more fiber in your diet, and it was easy. Where is this additional fiber coming from?
Mira Fiber Gummies.
Objection.
It's true. Mira Fiber has 8 grams of fiber to help me get the fiber I need in a day, plus 4 B vitamins for metabolism support, all in one serving.
Overruled.
My gut rests its case.
Oh, that's my line.
Find Mirafiber today at your local retailer from the makers of Miralax. Mirafiber supports metabolism of carbs, fats, and proteins. Serving size is 4 gummies.
Hey, it's a nice morning. Skies have cleared, sunny, 65 degrees downtown at the Arch. I'm Tom Ackerman.
I'm Debbie Monterrey. Here's Roger Brand in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, Debbie, we have slow traffic on North 270 from 55 most of the way up to Tesson Ferry, Sappington Road overpass through Gravois, and then 44 all the way up through Manchester. Southbound 270, 364 down through Ladue is kind of busy as well. Southbound 61, slow ramping onto eastbound 70 out in Wentzville. But once you do that, you have good runs across the Missouri River bridges on 64 or 70 at that point. Eastbound 64 slow, midway from Lindbergh through McKnight to about Hanley. South 170 delays at Ladue. Westbound 64 jammed from the Science Center to McCausland. Then it's slow to Hanley after that. Downtown northbound 55 Gravois to 44 is a little busy. Illinois side 255 northbound from 5570 up to Hershey Lake Road's backed up. Westbound 64 slow. West of 50 through 159, Ball Avenue to the 70 split, and then across the Poplar. And you have slow traffic both directions on 5570 between 203 and a point just east of 111. The work going on at both directions there. Next update at 740 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
AccuWeather meteorologist Joe Lundberg says times of sun and clouds today. It'll be humid this afternoon with a thunderstorm in parts of the area through early evening. A high today of 84. Low tonight 69, warm and humid. Tomorrow clouds and sun. A thunderstorm around in the afternoon with a high of 84 and heavy thunderstorms in the forecast for Thursday night. Currently, we have sun in downtown St. Louis starting to warm up. It is 68 degrees.
St. Louis County will begin cutting medical services at the County Justice Center, although technically the funds don't run out until the end of the month.
The County Council has been sitting on a bill providing the needed funds until they meet with the Director of the Health Department, Dr. Kanika Cunningham. Councilwoman Shalonda Webb is wondering why the cuts to service are coming a week before the contract expires.
I don't know why they're saying that all fire departments and police departments starting on tomorrow that you must send your residents that you're detaining to the hospital to get that check-in process.
County Executive Dr. Sam Page.
We have to take the next 5 days or 7 days to prepare for something we've never done before, which is provide skeleton emergency medical services inside of the jail and coordinate with emergency services in the community.
Other coming changes include having correctional officers leave the jail to watch detainees in the hospital where they will begin receiving medical care. Sean Malone, KMOX News.
A Missouri state representative is going to introduce legislation on data centers and transparency. Tricia Burns from Wentzville, representing St. Charles County, is having the first hearing on this issue.
First off, I want these NDAs to be a thing of the past. Now, I understand branding can be a concern, but outside of that, we can't even ask, for instance, a hydrogeologist cannot tell you what the situation is for water.
Burns tells KMOX that can only be done if they know the exact location of the data center. The representative will call for public hearings as well as documents displayed for the public to see at a minimum of 10 days before decisions are made on data centers.
Missouri State Representative Don Mayhew and a coalition of Missouri House members are urging Governor Mike Kehoe to call a special session specifically to address the challenges and community concerns about the rapid expansion of large-scale data centers across the state. They say things need to be addressed before irreversible long-term impacts are made.
The news sponsored by Michael's Flooring Outlet, the flooring experts, michaelsflooringoutlet.com. Your Money Minute next.
Let me tell you something about insurance. When you sign your insurance policy, for some brokers, that's the finish line. Handshake, commission, done. Then you may not hear from them again until it's time for renewal. But your business runs all year, so do the gaps and the risk. So go to supersure.com. If your company has more than 25 employees, whether you're the owner, CFO, or HR manager, it can be too complex to just go buy a policy online. Supersure is the super agency built for you, licensed in every state for your business insurance and employee benefits, all with year-round support for you and your team. At supersure.com, you can access tools like fine print facts. It'll translate your current policy into plain English so you see what's covered and what's not. Plus a business value calculator so you can estimate what your business is worth so you know what actually needs protecting. Go to supersure.com. One super agency, one powerful platform, all your policies in one place. Supersure.com. That's supersure.com. Paid for by Supersure Insurance Agency, LLC, a licensed insurance agency.
It is 7:35. We will get you updated on traffic and weather. We've got a lot of storms that are going to start pushing through later today and pretty much all the way through Saturday. Sunday is just going to be super hot. Anyway, details on that after we check the roadways and more. But first, your business report. It's from Bloomberg, and it's sponsored this hour by Busey Bank.
This is a Bloomberg Money Minute. President Trump has ordered the Justice Department to look into gasoline prices, which he says aren't falling fast enough. In a post on Truth Social, he says, quote, the big oil companies are not dropping the price at the pump commensurate with the sharply lower prices they're paying for oil. He did not elaborate on the instructions given to the DOJ. According to AAA, the average price of gas nationally is $3.93 a gallon. Checking on the market, stocks are seeing a small rebound this morning from yesterday's tumble for the S&P 500. After the bell today, all eyes will be on memory chip maker Micron Technology, which is reporting quarterly earnings. And TV ratings have been strong for the World Cup. Fox says it's seen an average of 5.7 million viewers per game, more than double that of the 2022 tournament. Telemundo says its coverage has broken several records. This report is sponsored by Vanguard Investor Choice, a proxy voting program for eligible Vanguard Index funds. Courtney Donahoe, Bloomberg Radio.
This is the Let's Revitalize Our Neighborhoods commitment. This is the Roll Up Our Sleeves and Pitch In commitment. This is Busey, where our commitment to strengthen our communities is a top priority. Through energetic, engaged volunteers, through monetary support, community leadership, and advocacy. Because Busey is more than a bank that does well, we're a bank that does good. Busey Bank, building business, growing wealth since 1868. Member FDIC.
A common question I receive is, how is the market right now? It just seems so volatile. Hi, I'm Christina Straight, owner of Straight Realty. If you want to buy or sell but feel overwhelmed by the whiplash of the market, then let's talk. With over 23 years as a broker, I have the exact experience you need to help you navigate this tricky market. Call me at 314-441-4444. 314-441-ALL-4s. And remember, why pay more than two?
Commissions are not regulated and are negotiable. Straight Realty is a licensed broker in the state of Missouri.
Bill, that's a big smile for an old politician.
I'm thinking about our plan. It's slick enough to make a lobbyist blush. First, we hoodwink voters with Amendment 5. Tell them it's a tax cut. Once they're hooked, we decide who pays the higher taxes.
So it's not a tax cut plan, and we don't get a say?
Right, just swaps who pays the tax, but it does remove 3 voter-passed taxpayer constitutional protections. That lets us levy new taxes on services, increase sales taxes, and even tax home sales, and voters will no longer get to vote on tax hikes.
Higher sales taxes on groceries, gas, service taxes on doctor visits, childcare, and even rent on apartments. Jeez. Taxes could exceed 20%.
Sure, they figure that up to 80% of taxpayers will pay more taxes. Many, hundreds more. Seniors, they'll get hit even harder, but our big donors will cut a fat hog.
The ones getting butchered by Amendment 5 are most taxpayers. I'm voting no on 5.
Paid for by Missourians for fair taxation.
For the last 33 years, you've discovered that at Banner Construction, we pride ourselves on quality craftsmanship. We believe the single most important decision homeowners must make when considering an exterior restoration project is, who do you hire? At Banner, we provide well-engineered, meaningful, long-term solutions to transform your home into the pride of the neighborhood. Let us help you fall in love with your home all over again. Call 314-569-1050 or visit bannerconstruction.com and have a banner day.
It's time to slide into a deal with Seidenstrucker Nobe Partners. Right now, catch 0% financing for 84 months on a John Deere 1025R compact tractor package for as low as $269 a month. This one machine is built to do it all. Mow, move, dig, and clear with ease. Don't wait. This offer ends June 30th. Slide into a deal today at Seidenstrucker Nobe Partners, snpartners.com.
Offer valid through 6/30/2026. Some restrictions apply. See dealer for details.
Today, the Cards, the D-backs. Ackerman Total Access 550. First pitch 6:45. Cardinals Radio. 104.1 FM KMOX.
Big day today on KMOX. The Gas House Gang at noon, and then we'll expand into the 1 o'clock hour. The Cardinals have called a 1 o'clock news conference. Bill DeWitt Jr., Bill DeWitt III, Anouk Karuna-Rodney, Chaim Bloom, to talk about an announcement related to ownership and organizational leadership. We'll let them explain at 1 o'clock today, live on KMOX. Right now, Roger Brand, some traffic to sort through. Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Yeah, mostly a lot of slow going time, but it's certainly busy. This traffic reports the service of financial and tax strategies. If you're on southbound 61, that is a jam from Wentzville Parkway ramping on to eastbound 70. It sorts itself out on Highway A. Southbound 270 pockets backed up approaching 364 to Ladue. North 270, most of the way up from 55 to Manchester is the busiest part. Eastbound 64, slow Clarkson toward Timberlake, east of Spady all the way into Big Bend. South 170 delays south of Page down to 64. Westbound 64, Kings Highway to Hanley, a lot of heavy traffic there. Downtown northbound 55 from 3200 Broadway up onto 44 to the Poplars slow. On the Illinois side, westbound 64 delays both sides of 159, 25th Street to the 70 split. 5570 both ways between 203 and 111 are heavy, but the eastbound stuff runs all the way into about Black Lane, and northbound 255, of course, from 5570 to Horseshoe Lake is backed up. Next update is 750 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
If your retirement plan is mostly what if and a little fingers crossed, you deserve better answers than that. Check out Wealth and Wisdom Saturdays at 7 a.m. here on KMOX. I'm Gary Goldberg. Call 800-966-1690.
It is 7:42. Time to check the forecast. I do note that we have some really hot temperatures coming our way after this weekend. Our AccuWeather meteorologist, Joe Lundberg, is joining us. And after the forecast, Joe, we're going to talk about how hot it's getting in Europe right now, where they don't have air conditioning. I feel bad for them.
I do feel bad for them too. Yeah, and it's a big ridge of high pressure that's building a lot of heat in France and other parts of Europe. But we're going to have a similar ridge here park itself right over our area starting Sunday and lasting deep into next week toward the 4th of July, which means a string of days in the 90s. So enjoy this relatively comfortable weather while it lasts, which is about 4 more days. Today will be comfortable with sun and clouds. The humidity starts to come up this afternoon. It could lead to a spotty afternoon thunderstorm, the high 84. That diminishes overnight, partly to mostly cloudy, though 69. Humid tomorrow, clouds, some sun, mid-80s, a shower and thunderstorm around in the afternoon. Showers and heavier thunderstorms seem likely tomorrow night. And again on Friday, could be severe weather and flooding downpours to contend with. Friday's high might not make it to 80. But then after that, the heat starts to build on Saturday. With some sunshine, we'll head to 87, a chance of an afternoon thunderstorm. Looks like the heat really builds in on Sunday. Partly sunny up to 95, and get used to that into next week. 67 at St. Peter, 70 in Florissant, 69, partly sunny downtown at the Arch. From the Saliga Heating and Cooling Weather Desk, I'm AccuWeather meteorologist Joe Lundberg on 104.1 FM KMOX.
Thank you, Joe. It's 7:43. Sports coming your way in 2 minutes. In the news this morning, taking a look at a life-threatening heat wave smothering much of Western and Southern Europe. Relief is still days away as tens of millions face dangerous conditions. ABC News Chief International Correspondent James Longman in London.
In France, it was the hottest day on record. Icons of Paris, the Eiffel Tower and the Louvre had to close early to keep tourists safe. With hundreds of schools closed and trains cancelled, crowds are flocking to lakes and rivers to beat the heat. But that's caused a surge in drowning deaths. And in Europe, AC is not that common.
I haven't stopped sweating since the second I woke up this morning. You're just living on fans.
Experts warn of a dangerous heat dome looming over continental Europe.
The 42-day quarantine has come to an end for the 18 American passengers who were exposed to the hantavirus on board the expedition cruise, the MV Hondius. 6 of them spent their entire quarantine period at the National Quarantine Unit in Nebraska. Jake Rosmarin was one of them. He told ABC why he chose to take part.
I wanted to make sure that I had quick access to the best medical care possible, and that's what I could get at that facility.
Let's get into what the Cardinals are doing today. A 1 o'clock news conference. A lot of people had questions about this. Let's just take a good look at who is going to be there and the timing of this. So the Cardinals are into their season. We'll talk about what they did last night. But at 1 o'clock today, the Cardinals are calling a news conference. They're calling this important news related to ownership and organizational leadership. And they do have their leaders all at the table together. Bill DeWitt Jr., the team chairman, and has been for 3 decades now. His son, Bill DeWitt III, who became president of the team. Anouk Karunaratne, who within the last couple of years has joined on as vice president of business operations. Chaim Bloom has been with the organization for a few years as an advisor, and just this past year officially became president of baseball operations. So the 4 of them will be there. We will be there as well. We will carry it live for you at 1 o'clock. We'll start with the Gas House gang. Chris Ranji will join me, and then we'll shift over to Busch Stadium. Matt Pauley will join us from Busch Stadium as the Cardinals have their news conference at 1 o'clock today. As for the club, interesting game yesterday. The Cardinals actually had a game that was scoreless until the 9th inning, and it ended 4-3. That's because the Diamondbacks were able to score 4 times in the top of the 9th inning. They were able to get the bases moving, and they were able to get some runs off of Matt Swanson. 4 runs, 3 earned in that 9th inning. The Cardinals actually made it very interesting in the bottom of the 9th, scoring 3 on their own, but they come up just short and they lose the game 4-3. It was a really good outing for Kyle Leahy. Leahy ended up going 6 1/3 scoreless yesterday as the Cardinals lost this game 4-3. They also saw some relief work. With that, we go to KMOX's Matt Pauley.
It's been a whirlwind few weeks for Max Rajic. Shortly after being named the Cardinals minor league pitcher of the month for May, he gets his first big league opportunity, making his debut this past weekend with 2 appearances against the Royals in Kansas City. He makes his Busch Stadium debut in the team's 4-3 loss to the Diamondbacks, collecting 5 outs while not giving up a hit or a run. Manager Oliver Marmol believes Rajic can help this team.
He got after it, man. We're going to continue to put him in situations. We trust him. He's got the arsenal to go out there and the demeanor, and he doesn't scare. But he did a really nice job of going in there and relieving Leahy and giving us an extra inning. Feels good.
It's Rajic's first hitless and scoreless outing after giving up runs in each game that he appeared against the Royals. At Busch Stadium, Matt Pauley, KMOX Sports.
Illinois freshman Keaton Wagler, the 5th overall pick in the NBA draft. He was picked last night by the LA Clippers. The Blues draft coming up this weekend. They have 4 first-round picks now. 4. Let's take a look at this trade yesterday as the Blues sent Jordan Kyrou to the Washington Capitals. The Blues picked up the 16th overall pick in that deal, as well as 25-year-old forward Connor McMichael, who had 14 goals, 32 assists last season for Washington, and a really talented center, 19-year-old Milton Gastrin. He was part of a Swedish league team. They're actually the captain of the team and a center. So the Blues now have picks 11, 15, 16, and 29 in the draft. They're going to use all 4 of those, or are they going to try to package to move up in the draft? Either way, the Blues are in a good position here. They could acquire a very high pick if it all works out for them, or they could just continue to accumulate young talent as they have for the past few years and pick up 4 first-round draft picks. Ins and Outs sponsored by Innsbruck Resort, where every day is the weekend, and it certainly is today. What a great day on a Wednesday. Feels like a Saturday afternoon strolling around Innsbruck. It's going to be amazing there today. Just a great day of golf, of fishing, of hiking, of playing with your kids at the pool or whatever you want to do. A restaurant right there on the golf course, a market in town. You can grab an ice cream and just enjoy yourself. 7,500 acres at Innsbruck, 100 lakes, beautiful homes throughout. Or you can rent a condo or an A-frame or just tuck back into the woods in your lake home and just enjoy some relaxation. Best part, it's a quick drive from home. It's right here in the St. Louis area. It's Innsbruck Resort, right off the Wright City exit on I-70. Innsbruck-resort.com. Parlay of the day sponsored by Circus Sports. Sports betting the way it should be. Just keeping an eye on the World Cup. And again, France is the favorite to win the World Cup right now, according to the Circus Sports app. But I will still say that at plus 1,400, I think the Netherlands is a sneaky pick. If you're not going after France or Spain or some of the big ones, like just look at England yesterday. They're not perfect. They ended up in a scoreless draw. This Netherlands team is interesting to me. So just something to watch here as we get a little closer. Parlay of the day, sponsored by Circus Sports. Sports betting the way it should be.
America is turning 250 this year, and Circus Sports is celebrating by offering all users in Missouri $250. For everyone in Missouri, all you have to do is deposit $250 on your Circus Sports app, then play through that deposit. Once you do, Circus Sports will reward you with $250 right in your account. This is available for everyone in Missouri, new and existing users. Celebrate 250 years and find out more at circusports.com today. Must be 21 or older and in Missouri. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
The soundtrack of classic rock is coming to Hollywood Casino Amphitheater August 6th. Leonard Skinner and Foreigner joining forces for one epic night of legendary hits and unforgettable memories. It's the Double Trouble Double Vision Tour. From Sweet Home Alabama to Cold as Ice. Don't miss your chance to experience these 2 Rock and Roll Hall of Fame acts in one incredible show. Tickets available at Ticketmaster.com. For more info, KMOX.com/events. Broadcasting from the Scott Credit Union Studio, 104.1 FM KMOX. Now the news. At 9, The Talk. The Chris and Amy Show on 104.1 FM KMOX.
7:51 and time for Roger Brand in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, W, you were slow on North 270, north of 55, all the way up to Manchester. South 270, south of 70, approaching Dorset all the way down to Ladue. That's heavy. Southbound 61, delays midway down from P to 64 or 70, ramping on, and eastbound 70, Z through 64, some congestion. 64, delays Clarkson to Timberlake, Spady into Big Bend. South 170, Midland down through Page, and then Olive down to 64 is heavy. Westbound 64 backed up just west of the Science Center to Hanley. North 55, Arsenal up through onto 44 toward the Poplar. Eastbound 70 is backing up coming into Salisbury. On the Illinois side, westbound 64, delays at 159 Ball Avenue to the 70 split at the Poplar. Eastbound 5570 east of Exchange most of the way to 255 is heavy. Northbound 255, of course, 5570 to Horseshoe Lake's heavy. And 255 between Seminary Road and 111, and Godfrey's kind of slow. Next update is 7:58 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Weather-wise, AccuWeather's Joe Lundberg says we're looking at a nice day today, a little more humid this afternoon, and then a thunderstorm in parts of the area through early evening. A high today of 84 degrees, partly to mostly cloudy, warm, and humid overnight. Tomorrow, more clouds than sun, humid, shower and thunderstorm around in the afternoon, high 84. The thing we're watching for here is tomorrow night, showers and heavy thunderstorms tomorrow night, and considerable cloudiness on Friday. After all of that, damaging winds and flash flooding are possible on Thursday night. Right now, it's 68 downtown at the Arch.
It's 7:53. A redevelopment project in Ladue facing some pushback. The city proposing turning 50 acres of the former Rock Hills Quarry into apartments, single-family homes, and commercial space. Our partners at Fox 2 say neighboring homeowners are concerned about how the redevelopment would impact local traffic, neighboring home values, and the already high flood levels. The city says no decision on the project has been made yet. A flood study is underway. There's a meeting on the development tonight at the St. Louis County Library's Clark Family Branch. That's going on from 4 to 6.
A Maryland Heights company is agreeing to pay for poisoning children with lead and other toxic substances. Doe Run Resources will pay $150 million for toxins released at its plant in Peru. Lead, arsenic, cadmium, and other substances known to cause health risk, although the company says that was largely before Doe Run owned it. According to the Post-Dispatch, a 2005 SLU study showed nearly all the children in La Arroya, Peru had levels of lead in their blood. Doe Run locally ran a smelter in Herculaneum, which closed in 2013. It also faced lawsuits there over lead contamination.
Governor Pritzker defending a proposed increase on Illinois tollways. So the Tollway Board is proposing an increase of about 45 cents per toll for iPass users and a 30% rate hike for commercial iPass users. The governor told reporters the increase is necessary to handle the traffic going through the state.
Many of the trucks, many of the cars that are traveling on our tollways are actually from out of state and going to other states. So they're actually not Illinois companies and not Illinois individuals. And so that's one of the considerations.
Pritzker points to recent inflation as a reason to increase tolls. The rate for passenger vehicles was last raised in 2012.
Illinois announces more than $27 million in library grants. Alexi Janulius, who is not just the Secretary of State, but the state librarian, says these grants come at a time when federal support for libraries across the country face threats of rollback.
While others are pulling back, we are stepping up. With the support of the Illinois General Assembly, we're making significant investments in literacy, technology, educational opportunity, and the fundamental right to access information.
The grants will support public libraries, school libraries, library construction projects, new security enhancements, and tech upgrades across Illinois.
The Magic House in Kirkwood has a new strategic plan. KMOX's Megan Lynch tells us it focuses on the serious business of play.
The president of the Magic House says traditional play is starting to disappear from children's lives. It's being replaced by screen time.
Research is starting to show that this is really having a devastating impact on children's social, emotional, and neurological development.
Beth Fitzgerald tells KMOX's Total Information AM the strategic plan is called Play Together. That 3-year plan will focus on outreach to families and schools, as well as on creating more opportunities for the region's kids to interact through play. Megan Lynch, KMOX News.
Now the news at 1 The Fun. It's the Dave Glover Show on 104.1 FM KMOX.
Boy, it doesn't get much better than watching the USA soccer team in the World Cup. It just, wait a minute, I got something even better than that. Watching it with an ice cold beer in your hand, and there's no better place to do both of those things than at the Beer Garden at Anheuser-Busch. This is an incredible space. We just did that event with Ozzy and Big City and the Mad Hungarian. A huge TV. Every seat in the house was great. We had a packed house. You're going to have a blast at this event. The beer is as fresh and as cold as you can find it. Bring your crew early, take a brewery tour, listen to some live music, settle in for Team USA playing tomorrow night, 9 o'clock against Turkey. $15 Mick Ultra pitchers, $20 Ultra buckets, $5 Ultra drafts, and those come in collectible FIFA cups, by the way. BudweiserTours.com to learn more. Experience USA soccer at the Beer Garden at Anheuser-Busch.
At Uline, the prevailing opinion is if you don't live it, you don't believe it. The people at Uline believe in hard work, and they live it by being there 24/7 to answer your call, having 41,000 items in stock, and offering same-day shipping from 12 locations across North America. Business owners, sellers, buyers, shippers, and packers believe it. Uline is the hard-working, dependable source for your shipping and industrial supplies. Visit uline.com.
I built this business the old-fashioned way. Hard work and a whole lot of spreadsheets.
Yeah, about that, I upgraded us to Odoo. Odoo puts everything we need, sales, inventory, accounting, on one connected platform. No more juggling systems, no more headaches.
So it all works together?
Exactly.
Odoo is the all-in-one business software that makes running and passing on a business easier than ever. Take your business into the next generation. Try Odoo free at odoo.com. That's ODOO.com.
SNL Coin. We buy gold and silver coins, silver and gold jewelry. Also buying gold filled and silver plates. Before you sell, call SNL 314-544-3600. 314-544-3600. SNL Coin.
I'm Ultima Morgan of Morgan & Morgan. Every time one of my children started driving, it was terrifying. Thousands of accidents happen across the country. We see it every day. If you've been injured in a car accident, call us.
Dial pound law or visit forthepeople.com for an office near you.
Roger Brand, take us home. What do you have? Overhead door, or take us to work, rather. Overhead door company, St. Louis Traffic Center.
Yeah, there's still a lot of people heading to work right now, Tom. We still have a backup on southbound with 61, Wentzville Parkway, ramping on to eastbound 64 out in Wentzville. But once you get on eastbound 70, you're good till you get into downtown. It looks like the delay's pretty close to Grand right now coming in through Tucker. Southbound 270, Dorset down to Ladue, that's still slow. North 270 is better, but gravel up to Manchester still busy. Eastbound 64, you've got heavy stuff approaching Lindbergh all the way into Big Bend. South 170, Midland down to Olive is busy, and then the Parkway to 64. So that's opening up a bit. Westbound 64 is still pretty solid from west of Kings Highway through McCausland, and then slow to Hanley after that. And on the Illinois side, eastbound 5570, 203, most of the way to 255 is heavy. Westbound approaching 255 through Black Lane, you've got delays. 64, 25th Street to the 70 split heavy, and northbound 255 jams at 5570. From the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
News, talk, cards. KMOX AM St. Louis. KMOX FM Hazelwood. Always live on the free Odyssey app.
ABC News, I'm Sherry Preston. When it comes to international inspections of Iran's nuclear program, Rafael Grossi, head of the UN's nuclear agency, summed it up this morning, saying,
"There's a war of words here. Some say yes, the others say no."
And that was before an Iranian diplomat this morning declared there will be no inspections until a deal with the United States is finalized. The Trump administration saying Iran has agreed to let inspectors in. The president also just now posting the U.S. will control Iranian money that is being unfrozen and will use it to buy food for Iran from American farmers. The president goes to Capitol Hill today to sign the bipartisan housing reform measure and for a lunch with Senate Republicans. New York City's mayor has a big day on primary day. All of the congressional candidates he endorsed won. Two of them beat incumbent members of the House. More brutal heat hitting Europe. At least 40 people have drowned in France trying to cool off. This is ABC News. The NBA's Washington Wizards selecting BYU freshman A.J. DeBonsta first in last night's NBA draft. But, says ABC's Danny New,
history was made last night with the 21st pick.
The Detroit Pistons select Kareem Lopez.
As Kareem Lopez became the first Mexican-born player to ever be drafted in the first round.
This is super special, honestly.
An impact on young people, and I think showing
Be here.
them as someone who came from the same place as them.
I'm blessed. And yeah, I mean, I have no words.
He wore a jacket lined with Mexican flags and needed a moment to collect himself after breaking new ground for his country.
Of all the animals you might expect to see wandering around in Texas, a giraffe is probably pretty low on the list. Nevertheless, there is one roaming around the Lone Star State after escaping from the Cedar Hollow Ranch more than a week ago. Gracie the giraffe last seen on a game camera west of the town of Leakey. I'm Sherry Preston, ABC News.
At 8:02, we have sunny skies, 72 degrees downtown at the Arch. Today is Wednesday, June 24th. I'm Megan Lynch.
I'm going to call for public hearing and as well as documents to be displayed to the public for a period of a minimum of 10 days.
Missouri State Representative Tricia Burns introducing legislation that would require transparency on all data centers before decisions are made, especially when it includes taxpayer dollars, whether local, state, or federal.
I also want to understand the workforce. I truly want to know how many people they plan on hiring, what those conditions would be like for those employees, and what it would look like long term.
Burns tells KMOX she's seen reports from other states where they were promised a great deal of employment, and that didn't happen. Missouri State Representative Don Mayhew and a coalition of Missouri House members are urging Governor Mike Kehoe to call a special session. It would address the challenges and community concerns about the rapid expansion of large-scale data centers across the state. They say things need to be addressed before irreversible long-term impacts are made. No vote on funding, but the County Justice Center healthcare workers, but plenty of arguing yesterday between the St. Louis County Council and executive. For weeks, County Health Director Kanika Cunningham has been warning the public that if the council doesn't approve funding that they cut for healthcare workers at the jail, services would be slashed. Acting Justice Services Director Captain Tim Ware.
Department of Justice Services' ability to accept detainees at the jail will be drastically reduced. Without nurses to conduct medical screening, police departments will be required to take arrestees to the hospital for medical clearance before we can accept them.
The council held the bill last week due to a lack of a meeting with Health Director Dr. Kanika Cunningham. Tuesday, a verbal argument broke out between Sam Page and Council Chair Rita Hurd Days because she wouldn't allow Page to speak. There's a 10 o'clock hearing scheduled today with Councilwoman Shalonda Webb. The FAA has been called in to investigate a plane crash near Bismarck, Missouri. The plane went down just before 10:30 Tuesday morning at Lake Avalon Road. In a Facebook post, St. Francis County Sheriff Jeff Kreitz reports there were no injuries. A school bus driver has been charged after allegedly driving students while that driver was under the influence.
Donna Brennan faces 1 count of driving while intoxicated and 37 counts of endangering the welfare of a child. According to a probable cause statement on February 6th, Brennan was caught consuming alcohol just prior to transporting over 3 dozen children on a Dunklin R5 school bus. A breathalyzer determined the driver's blood alcohol level to be 0.029. Brennan admitted to police to drinking half a bottle of Coors Light prior to driving the school bus. In a statement, the Dunklin R5 school district said they terminated Brennan immediately after learning of the situation, and parents were notified via email at the time. Sean Malone, KMOX News.
Gravois, the most dangerous road last year in St. Louis. According to TrailNet's State of Our Streets report published this week, 23 motor vehicle crashes happened on Gravois last year. That resulted in 19 injuries and 4 deaths.
So we do see Gravois this year as both having the highest number of crashes involving vulnerable road users and the most fatalities. In previous years, it's always been in the top 3, 4, or 5 for the region as well. So this is a consistent problem.
Author of the report, Eric Helmer, encourages residents to weigh in on the current discussions between the city and Missouri Department of Transportation that would redesign the road to make it more safe. A Maryland Heights company agreeing to pay for poisoning children with lead and other toxic substances. Doe Run Resources will pay $150 million for toxins released at its plant in Peru. Lead, arsenic, cadmium, and other substances known to cause health risks, although the company says that was largely before Doe Run owned it. The Post-Dispatch reports a 2005 St. Louis University study showed nearly all the children in La Roya, Peru, had levels of lead in their blood. Doe Run locally ran a smelter in Herculaneum, which closed in 2013. It also faced lawsuits there over lead contamination. The McDonald Planetarium reopens to the public July 18th. Planetarium director Will Snyder says the new star projector is the first of its kind in the nation, replacing the one installed in 2001.
Over the last 25 years, we've been able to show that beautiful starry sky, but it's a little bit of a one-trick pony. That's the only thing that projector did. But going a step beyond that now, you can really feel like you are flying through the universe. You can see exoplanets. You can explore these concepts that you couldn't under our old technology.
Snyder tells Total Information AM there's also a brand new sound system and new programming as well. More than 160 young people will learn more about building things at a construction forum today. It's the 5th annual Yeah, I Built That hands-on construction showcase for middle school, high school, and young adults. Students get a chance to meet people and companies in the construction industry and get up close and personal with big construction equipment. The event's taking place at the William Harrison Center on Cass Avenue. It's now 8:07. We're going to get a check of the forecast and your ride into work coming up. Also, a lot of experts are saying the Iran war permanently altered the global economy. I'm going to talk with John Horn, an economics professor at WashU, about whether he thinks that's the case.
Men, if you're suffering from erectile dysfunction or PE, you're not alone. Most importantly, you don't have to live with it. Paramount Men's Medical Center restores men's sex lives in just one visit. Their painless breakthrough treatments eliminate ED and PE, even when Viagra and Cialis don't work. Here's Dr. Simovitz, specialist in men's health.
Paramount Men's Medical Center's painless breakthrough treatments eliminate ED and PE, regardless of age or medical history. 98% of patients see instant results right in the office.
Men are now lasting longer than they ever imagined. And the best part, at Paramount Men's Medical Center, your consultation and first treatment are free. Qualified patients even get their testosterone checked free. Call 314-720-8444. 314-720-8444. Take control of your sex life. Call now. 314-720-8444.
Man, I love this place. I've been surfing here since I was a kid. Now, seeing my grandson out on the water, it means everything to me. Watching him and taking in the blue waves, the sea breeze, the blurry horizon.
If you have geographic atrophy, or GA, subtle changes in vision could mean it's progressing toward irreversible vision loss. Izervay is proven to slow GA progression and could help preserve your vision for longer, so you may keep seeing the world around you. Izervay, or avacincaptad pegol, is an eye injection. Don't take it if you have an infection or active swelling in or around your eye. Izervay can cause eye infection, retinal detachment, or increased risk of wet AMD. Izervay may cause blood in the white of the eye, blurred vision, or a temporary increase in eye pressure. Do not drive or use machinery until vision has recovered after an eye injection or exam. Ask your retina specialist how you can slow your GA with Izervay. To learn more, call 1-855-IZERVAY or go to izervay.com. Paid for by Astellas Pharma.
This hour of Total Information AM is sponsored by Gamma Tree Experts. Total Information AM, the news continues on 104.1 FM KMOX.
8:10, time to check the roads. Doesn't look like it's quite as bad as it was yesterday. Let's get an update, though, from Roger Brand in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Yeah, it's just slow in spots for the most part, Megan. If you're on northbound 270, north of Sappington through Gravois, still bogged down from 44 up to Manchester, still pretty busy. It's off the pace southbound on 270, south of 364 down to Ladue, southbound 61, south of Wentzville Parkway. Still some slow stuff ramping on to eastbound 70 out west. Eastbound 64 slow east of Clarkson toward Timberlake, east of Lindbergh through the Interbelt. The Interbelt's still a little slow between Midland and Page, and then Delmar to 64, a couple of heavy spots. If you're on westbound 64, it's backed up to Science Center out through McCausland. The right lane slow from there to Hanley. Downtown eastbound 44, a little busy at Park. Eastbound 70, it's really just the right lane as you get into Salisbury that's backed up coming in through to Tucker. Westbound 64, barely slow at 159, but it is backed up 25th Street to the 70 split, but then you're good to go to the Poplar. And then a lot of volume on 5570 eastbound is east of 203, most of the way to 255. Westbound 255 into the 111 area heavy, and northbound 255 from 5570 to Horseshoe Lake Road is slow. Next update at 8:20 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
A mix of sun and clouds today and becoming more humid for the afternoon hours. Watch out for an afternoon or evening thunderstorm as well. The high 84. Partly to mostly cloudy, warm and sticky overnight, low 69. For tomorrow, more clouds and sun and humid. Look for a shower or thunderstorm in the afternoon, high 84. Some showers and heavier thunderstorms tomorrow night can produce damaging winds and cause flash flooding. For Friday, mostly cloudy and humid with a couple of showers and heavy thunderstorms, the high 79. From the Saliga Heating and Cooling Weather Desk, I'm AccuWeather meteorologist Joe Lundberg on 104.1 FM KMOX.
We have sunny skies, 72 degrees downtown at the Arch. Many experts say the global economy has been permanently altered by the Iran war, no matter what happens next. Let's get some insight from a frequent guest on Total Information AM, John Horn, economics professor in the Olin Business School at Washington University in St. Louis. Good morning, John.
Good morning, Megan.
Do you agree that the conflict with Iran has triggered some permanent changes in our global economy?
The simple answer is yes. The more complicated answer is even if there's an agreement tomorrow that sort of says for the next 20 years, the US and Iran agree to all kinds of conditions and stipulations, I think there's enough uncertainty about what might come about. Reading today about Iran putting in insurance on passage through the strait, and they could shut it down at any point, not just because of something the US does. I think a lot of businesses and a lot of countries are starting to question, we always thought we were going to get oil, but now that might not be the case, and we don't know what's going to happen with these shocks. And so I think there's just a lot more uncertainty. I know we've talked about tariff uncertainty before. This is just one more thing to pile on top of it.
When you have a lack of confidence in something so key as, for example, the Strait of Hormuz, what are the ripple effects of that?
I think what's the challenging thing with it is it at its base, it's energy. And energy is sort of drives everything, whether it's delivery of our packages that we order, it's the energy which runs the factories which produce the things, it's the energy which powers the utilities which create the power for our homes or for our computers or for whatever. That there's so much that we rely on for energy. It's not just like, oh well, we can't get this computer chip anymore. It's everything. And so the price of everything gets adjusted, and the uncertainty about should we switch now to different forms of energy development or storage, most of those are not 2 or 3 year investments. And so to think about should we do that, it's sort of like with the tariffs. If this is going to be in place for 15, 20 years, yeah, I'll bring manufacturing back. If this sort of challenge with the Strait of Hormuz is going to happen for the next 15, 20 years, then absolutely let's invest in solar and wind and alternative technologies. But if it's going to be over in 18 months, maybe you just ride it out. And I think that's sort of why it's so challenging, is you start to make a shift into some new big investment, and then it just goes away, and everyone else is sitting there saying, great, we're back with low energy prices. That makes it hard for you to be the first one to take that step.
Could this kind of reshift who the power brokers are when we talk about energy markets?
I think we've always sort of seen the Middle East as the power brokers with oil, but we've seen now that the UAE and Saudi Arabia, UAE essentially pulled out of OPEC, and now seems like more tension among Middle East countries, not sort of aligning behind what OPEC should be doing. So for the oil production around the world, there could be shifts in who you pay attention to, plus more risks, because for better or for worse, you just look to OPEC, and that sort of was the decision making about what was going to happen with oil markets. But then you throw in, what is the alternative energy source? Is it hydro? Is it wind? Is it solar? What is it? Nuclear even? And China is a lead in a lot of those things, but they're building the solar panels is one thing, locating them in a different place. Now does the country that has those generation facilities installed have some sort of power about, well, we're going to shut down the power line which takes all the wind and solar from our country and ships it over to yours? So it absolutely could change, because it's not as simple as put it on a boat, we get the oil, we process it.
What about the prices of all goods? Not just when we talk about energy. We've seen inflation tick up again. How much has the likelihood that we go back to some more comfortable prices?
The challenge with prices is the prices will never go back down to what they were even a year or two ago. But the belief was that with the new chairman of the Federal Reserve coming in, that he would be much more likely to lower interest rates, because that's what President Trump wants. But the first meeting that they had last week, he came out and sort of indicated that might not be what we need. And so the tension of, is our inflation going up? You normally increase interest rates to slow that down. But with the economy not necessarily booming, do you do that? With the president saying, no, we have to lower interest rates. Do interest rates get lowered anyway? It's, again, one of those uncertainties. Like, who do you pay attention to? Which tea leaves do you believe?
And I guess, could we see a snowball effect of inflation again if it stays at this high level?
I think it's possible, especially because one of the things we've seen the last couple of months is that wages have not kept up with inflation. So for the last couple of years, wage growth was going faster than price growth. So, yes, prices were higher, but you were getting more money, which sort of covered it. Now wages have been growing slower. And so if there gets to be another, the labor market stays tight in the sense of there aren't a lot of workers to go higher, wages are going to have to go up. And if wages go up, then prices could go up. And if energy still is sort of uncertain, then that'll also drive prices up, and becomes this spiral. So it's possible. I don't think we're going to have as big of a shock as we did with the supply chain crunch in 22 that sort of led to that huge spike. But it could, the more it gets systemic and the more it gets baked in, then interest rates go up on their own because lenders need more. And that sort of feeds into expectations and sort of can snowball on itself.
Anytime there's a shift in the world, not everybody is at a disadvantage. There are some corporations, some countries that can benefit from situations like this. Have you seen that?
Well, the big one seems to be China. Like I said before, they're sort of the manufacturing hub of the world, and so for producing solar panels, batteries, wind turbines, the equipment which runs all of that, to the extent that there's a shift away from oil and gas production to alternative energy sources, China's sort of primed to be the supplier to the world for those for that equipment. But on the other hand, China is also facing struggles of their own about where, because of the conflict with the United States in terms of trade, are they going to be able to continue to trade with the U.S.? Where else in the world can they sell everything they keep producing? And they have some challenges with their own internal economy growing in terms of consumption and sort of compensating for what they can't sell. So China's well positioned in terms of the technology and in terms of the production and the manufacturing, but that doesn't necessarily mean that they're going to go back to like 10% growth that they had a couple of decades ago.
We talked about jitters, lack of confidence, but it seems like the stock market in the United States has been able to weather so much of this. And people always ask, what's the disconnect there between the stock market and the average American?
The big disconnect is data centers. Most of the growth in the stock prices and in stock growth is a very select few companies that are building out and continuing to get lots of investment because of data centers. And that, I'm not saying that's a bubble. I'm not saying it's a bubble that's going to pop and go away, but it is challenging, or it is a bit disconcerting that it's one particular sector of the economy that's driving most of the growth. And if it was more widely spread, then you'd want to start looking at, is it because we're producing more oil in the United States, so we're sort of more insulated from the rest of the world, that we are building more manufacturing, that we are doing these other things. But really, you take away data centers and investment in AI companies, and the US is sort of flat too. So it looks good. But there's a huge increase in the stock market when SpaceX launched, but they've also been struggling the last couple of days with their stock price. So I don't want to say it's a complete disconnect, but it is. It's one sector which really seems to be driving most of it, and to the extent that sector starts to face struggles or challenges, that could expand beyond that and sort of reveal other underlying challenges.
Well, John, thank you for helping us understand all this.
Absolutely, Megan. Thanks for having me back.
That is WashU economics professor John Horn. Let's get a check of the roads now. Roger Brand in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, Megan, we're still slow on northbound 270 approaching Gravois all the way up to Manchester. Southbound 270, 364 down to Ladou's busy. Eastbound 64 a little heavy through Clarkson and then east to Lindbergh. In through to Big Bend, south 170 bogs down south of Delmar, westbound 64 backed up Science Center to Clayton Skinker, slow into that Big Bend area. Eastbound 44 from 55 through Park is slow. Westbound 64 a backup west of 50 into 159, then it's slow Baugh Avenue to the 70 split. Usual Veterans Bridge westbound is busy, and eastbound 5570 approaching 111 up to Black Lane is heavy in that roadwork area. We did have a minor incident there as well. Next update at 8:30 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, Forest Park is 150 years old today. We're going to talk about that coming up in just a moment on Total Information AM. First, a check of the forecast. A mix of sun and clouds. It's going to be more humid this afternoon with a thunderstorm possible. Expect a high of 84. Sunny skies now 72 downtown at the Arch.
Sponsored by Gloria Lou with your home sold guaranteed realty 314-325-6888.
Need to sell your home and you want the most money? The name to remember is Gloria Lou. Yes, Gloria Lou with your home sold guaranteed realty at 314-325-6888 and start packing.
It's Tom Ackerman. Let's see what's going on at the MAC now. We have the MAC Clayton, brand new, 14th and 15th floors of the Pierre Laclede Center, restaurants, bars, an outstanding place to hang out, socialize, maybe get a little work done too. You have the MAC West, that's pure fun and workout facilities, racket courts, of course, the famous outdoor pool, restaurants, everything else going on there. Downtown, they have a pool as well, indoor. They're also a hotel, so it's about eating, drinking, event space, workout space, all of it downtown in an 11-story building. The Missouri Athletic Club's no longer one place. It's now 3 in the St. Louis area. They have speaker series downtown. They have great areas for events west. And, of course, the MAC Clayton, the brand new space they're very proud of. They're the Missouri Athletic Club. MAC-STL.org, the Missouri Athletic Club.
Look who has extra pep in their step.
Well, I just finished my to-do list. Gas tank is full, tonight's dinner plans are set, grocery shopping is complete, and I even got everything for those barbecues and pool parties we have planned. You know what's even better?
What?
Every one of those stops gets me a bit of money back.
How are you doing that?
By using Upside.
Upside? What's that?
It's a free app where I earn cash back on gas, groceries, and dining out. They even gave me a cashback bonus on my first grocery trip.
So that extra pep comes from all that cash back. Looks like I need to download Upside.
You really do.
Earn cash back on errands and everyday essentials. Download Upside and use promo code SNAP5 to earn an extra $5 cash back on your first purchase at one of over 100,000 available locations. That's promo code SNAP5 for an extra $5 cash back. Remember, use promo code SNAP5.
Offers vary by user and location at participating merchants. Go to upside.com for terms and conditions.
Hair Volume from New Nordic will make your hair look thick and healthy. Available as a tablet or delicious gummy. Hair Volume is available online at Amazon and newnordicusa.com or in the hair care aisle at your local CVS.
Welcome back to Total Information AM. I'm Megan Lynch. Today is the 150th anniversary of Forest Park in St. Louis. Joining me now on the Quiver River Electric Gas Line, Leslie Hofarth, President and Executive Director of Forest Park Forever. Good morning, Leslie.
Good morning.
What did the park look like that first year it was open?
Oh my gosh, a little bit different than today. It was pretty forested and prairies. It had some strolling paths. And it was a place for people to come and get out of the smog of the coal-burning city.
When I came to the region in 1990, the park was really in a state of decline. What did it take to bring it back?
Yeah, it's a really great story of the community kind of banding together to help the city over decades and decades. It was a heavy lift. The organization came around in 1986. By 95, we had a master plan in place. The city led the process. We were part of it, along with thousands of people in the community, to think about what should the park's comeback look like. So the park that you see today was really led by that master plan and the community, the city, and Forest Park Forever over the past couple of decades.
How much do we have to thank the 1904 World's Fair for what our park looks like?
It definitely shaped the park that we have today. Quite a bit of it was clear cut, actually, to make way for the park and the millions of people that came out for it. I would say the tornado that we all experienced last year is a good reflection on what the park looked like, getting it ready for the 1904 World's Fair. Ours was nature-made. Theirs was man-made.
So there are some events going on today. Tell people how they can take part in this anniversary.
Yes, we really want to celebrate what people love about the park. All the different ways that they can enjoy it, being outdoors, spending time in nature, spending time in our great cultural institutions. So Go St. Louis hosted an early morning run, so that one's passed. You can still get over to the History Museum before 9 for some breakfast treats and some history. The Art Museum will be hosting ice cream in the Sculpture Garden at noon, from noon to 1. And then the Boathouse pop-up, that while it's under renovations right now, they've got a pop-up tent on the north shore of the lake. And Forest Park Forever will be out there with them with music, games, roller skating, and boating. And that's from 4 to 7 this evening.
Real quick as well, what is the Forest Park Passport?
This is a great way for people to explore, really, for the next year, all that Forest Park has. So we've worked with all the cultural institutions. I want to thank the History Museum for really doing the heavy lift of helping to put together this passport. You can do 150 activities to celebrate the park throughout the year. There's something for everyone of all ages, things to do indoors and out, to move, to learn, to take pictures, and do some things maybe you haven't tried before. We will have a few little prizes to claim as you check off items off of that list of 150. So you can pick up your passports at the Visitor Center, the History Museum, the Art Museum, the Science Center, and then several of our seasonal operators, the Boathouse, Shakespeare, Dwight Davis, and Probe Scene.
Leslie, thank you so much, and happy anniversary, I guess.
Thank you so much. Really appreciate it.
That is Leslie Hofarth, President and Executive Director of Forest Park Forever, joining us this morning. It's now 8:28, and this time check is sponsored by Jerry Kelly Heating, Air Conditioning, Electrical, and Plumbing.
It's time for a $98 AC tune-up.
Hi, I'm Chuck McDowell, the timeshare cancellation guy and founder of Wesley Financial Group. And I want to set the record straight. I am not an attorney. I've never wanted to be an attorney. And the truth is, I really don't even like attorneys. If I sound like an attorney, I'll apologize. But what I've learned in my 15 years in the timeshare cancellation business is you don't need to be an attorney to get folks out of their timeshare. After 15 years and over 50,000 cancellations, I can tell you with confidence, we know how to get you out of your timeshare. Call us today and we'll send you our timeshare exit guide absolutely free with all your options for cancellation. Attorneys, this was meant to be funny, so please don't sue me, especially my friend Kenneth from Black River Falls, Wisconsin.
Call now for your free timeshare exit info kit. 800-838-6767. 800-838-6767. 800-838-6767.
This year, America celebrates 250 years, 2.5 centuries of courage, sacrifice, and family stories passed down from one generation to the next. Hi, I'm Nick Mako.
And I'm Adam Baselogger, founders of Legacy Box. Your family's piece of the American story is sitting in an attic or closet right now, trapped on aging VHS tapes, camcorder tapes, film reels, and fading photos.
Those boxes hold moments you can never recreate. Your wedding day, your children's voices when they were little, grandparents coming back to life on screen.
Over 2 million families have trusted Legacy Box. And we've just partnered with the USO to digitize fragile handwritten letters from World War II, helping preserve American history for future generations.
As America turns 250, remember that your family is a part of the American story. Preserving those voices, faces, and moments is a part of your responsibility to the next generation. Don't let them disappear on your watch.
Visit legacybox.com/radio for our amazing America 250 sale. That's legacybox.com/radio to save.
Coming up, how worried should you be about your pets and screwworm? We're going to talk with a veterinarian who's in Texas watching the outbreak right now. First, though, let's get a check of the roads with Roger Brand. He's in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, we've got a backup on eastbound 70 right now, Megan. This traffic reports a service of the Sandberg Phoenix Law Firm. It runs from David Hokel Parkway most of the way into Wentzville Parkway. I believe it's road work, but we'll try to keep tabs on it. I can't see the problem at this point in time. Southbound 270, still busy. 364 to Ladue. Northbound 270, still no change there. Approaching Gravois to Manchester. Eastbound 64, a little slower on Boone's Crossing through Clarkson. east of Lindbergh through the Interbelt. The Interbelt delay, south one's heavy around Delmar, westbound 64, Science Center to Handley, still heavy. 44 past Park Avenue downtown, still busy. Westbound 70, slow approaching the Mutual Veterans Bridge. Eastbound 64, 255 to 157 is heavy. Westbound 50 to 159 on 64 is slow. And eastbound 5570 approaching 111 to Black Lane, you've got some heavier traffic. Next update at 8:40 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Sandberg Phoenix serves your business in litigation, intellectual property, and products liability. We're more than a law firm. We're committed to your success. Learn more at sandbergphoenix.com. The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely on advertising.
From the Saliga Heating and Cooling Weather Desk, we'll have a mix of sun and clouds, more humid this afternoon, a thunderstorm possible. A high today, 84 degrees. We have sunny skies now, 72 degrees downtown at the Arch. I received an email this week from my veterinarian saying they're monitoring reports about New World screwworm infections for possible spread among livestock, even pets. I wanted to see how concerned we should be. So I reached out to Dr. Maria Alcano, veterinarian and medical director for Thrive Pet Healthcare in Cedar Park, Texas.
Historically, we haven't had it in the United States for some time, but it's a type of fly, and it's an adult fly that lays eggs in open wounds in your body, like open body areas, like the nose, the ears, the mouth, the eyes, or the genital area. And what happens, they'll lay eggs, which will hatch, and these larvae will then penetrate into other living tissue. Therefore, then it can cause painful wounds and infections. It can be serious, but it's very treatable. And it's actually not that easy to contract.
Alcano practices in the county next to where more than a dozen screwworm infections have been confirmed in livestock. She says it's not being reported in domestic animal populations yet.
It's very hard to predict exactly how far it's going to spread. Right now, confirmed cases have been reported in only Texas and New Mexico. So the risk for northern states is low. But that being said, the animal health officials are watching super closely about the spread. It's going to be influenced by weather, wind patterns, and animal movement.
She says if you are traveling with your pet to areas where screwworm infections are being seen, be alert for any open wounds on your pet.
The biggest part is open wounds of any kind, right? So if they have lacerations, ulcers, scratches, tick bites, surgical sites on their body, the wound, it can get infected by those flies. And what you'd see is a wound that's getting larger or deeper and it's not healing. You may appreciate a bad odor coming from the wound, or drainage or bleeding or swelling that's just not improving. Then you'll start to see, as the fly, those eggs hatch, you'll develop maggots and larvae around the area. You may also see pain, licking, chewing, biting, scratching at those areas as well. And then sometimes lower energy, also known as lethargy, and loss of appetite from our patients.
As Dr. Alcano mentioned, screwworm infection is treatable. She also adds it's a reportable disease, so any animal suspected to have it should be seen by a veterinarian and then reported to state health officials to prevent the spread. It's now 8:34. Your Money Report next.
This is Jordan Walker. Celebrate Black Heritage Day, presented by your quality Ford dealers on Sunday, June 28th at Busch Stadium. This special culture and community event honors the impact, history, and legacy of the Black community in baseball and beyond. With a special themed ticket, you'll receive an exclusive Cardinals jersey designed by Corey Rogers. And don't miss a special heritage celebration in Budweiser Terrace before the game. Details and tickets at cardinals.com/theme.
The weekend starts here. Grab your crew and kick it off at Friday Night Live at Busch Stadium. Every Friday night home game, Budweiser Terrace turns into the hottest happy hour in the Lou with $5 beers, $5 hot dogs, $7 margaritas, live music, and more all game long. Meet up with friends, soak in the energy, and keep the night going with baseball under the lights. Good vibes, great deals, your new Friday tradition. Get tickets now at cardinals.com.
Are you an adult with uncontrolled moderate to severe Crohn's disease symptoms and still packing a backup bag of clothes? Just in case, Skyrizi Risankizumab Riza can help you take control of your Crohn's. Feel significant symptom relief, including less abdominal pain and fewer bowel movements at 4 weeks. Plus, Skyrizi is proven to help people achieve remission and visibly improve damage of the intestinal lining. Individual results may vary. Skyrizi is a prescription injection medicine. Don't use if allergic to Skyrizi. Serious allergic reactions, increased infections, or lower ability to fight them may occur. Before treatment, get checked for infections and tuberculosis. Tell your doctor about any flu-like symptoms or vaccines. Liver problems leading to hospitalization may occur when treated for Crohn's. Ready to take control of your Crohn's? Ask your doctor about Skyrizi, the #1 prescribed biologic in Crohn's disease.
Control is everything to me.
Learn more at skyrizi.com or call 1-866-SKY-RIZZI.
Your Money Report now, sponsored by Eamon Gantner and Capriano Elder Law Attorneys. Here's Bloomberg's Courtney Donahoe.
Chipmaker Qualcomm has acquired Modular for about $3.9 billion, adding artificial intelligence software capabilities that will help its push into data centers. Modular builds software that helps AI systems run more efficiently. More tankers are crossing the Strait of Hormuz, while the U.S. and Iran signal progress toward ending the war. And Netflix is moving from streaming to screaming. The company will release its first original horror video game next Tuesday. In Unhinged, players use their phones as controllers to shine a flashlight and interact with objects on the screen. The game is set in an abandoned apartment during a hurricane and takes just over a half hour to complete. The cast includes Zoe Kravitz and Sadie Sink from Stranger Things. This report is sponsored by Vanguard Investor Choice, a proxy voting program for eligible Vanguard Index funds. Courtney Donahoe, Bloomberg Radio.
It's Tom Ackerman for the great company, Overhead Door Company of St. Louis. 1926, a century of service. Here's to the garage door, the largest piece of moving equipment in our home. The garage door, sometimes we take it for granted. It goes up, it goes down. You just rely on it every single day to do what it does. Well, what if it doesn't someday? That would be a problem. Overhead Door Company of St. Louis will keep your garage door reliable by checking it out. Just get it tuned up, make sure that it's running smoothly, and they can do it for any brand. You don't have to get it from them. Any brand of garage door, Overhead Door Company of St. Louis will take care of that for you. Same-day service, too. 314-781-5200. 314-781-5200. And don't be fooled by the imposters out there. There's only one Overhead Door Company of St. Louis, the one with the red ribbon. Overhead Door Company of St. Louis, the genuine, the original.
Amendment 4 on the August ballot hides some ugly facts. It would create a new minority veto power, but only for ballot issues that are citizen-led.
I just say no to that.
Amendment 4 permanently ends majority rule for citizen-led ballot issues.
I'm a no on 4.
Politicians put Amendment 4 on the ballot to severely limit citizens' constitutional power.
I say no on 4.
4 is a power grab by politicians. It lets one congressional district veto reforms backed by the majority of voters statewide, giving as few as 5% of voters control over the rest of us.
That's why I say no to 4.
4 would make it nearly impossible to rein in out-of-control politicians.
I say heck no.
4 takes away our constitutional power we've used for over 100 years to pass reforms that politicians wouldn't. Keep majority rule and your power. Just say no to Amendment 4. It's an ugly politician power grab. Paid for by Missourians for Fair Governance.
A divorce is more than just legal paperwork. It's a life change. The stress, the uncertainty, the tough conversations. Cordell & Cordell understands what it's really like to face the unknown. The law firm of Cordell & Cordell has been representing clients during these transitions for over 35 years, helping you focus on what matters most. If you or someone you know is facing a divorce or family law matter, visit CordellCordell.com.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements. 600 Kelwood, St. Louis. Joseph Cordell, Principal Partner.
Think buying a home is out of reach? Think again. Scott Credit Union has down payment options as low as zero money down. Your new home could be closer than you think. Visit scu.org today. Equal housing lender, NMLS 415767. Terms and conditions apply.
Let's see how things are moving. Get you to work this morning. Roger Brand is in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, it's looking better on eastbound 70 out west, Megan, but still pretty tough. I'd call it stop-and-go pockets now. This traffic reports a service at Chesterfield Fence-A-Deck, and it runs from east of Forestell in toward Wentzville Parkway. Earlier was a solid jam. The delays are a little longer as far as distance, but it doesn't seem to be as much of a jam, but still obviously an issue. Eastbound 64, east of Boone's Crossing in through about Timberlake is heavy from Lindbergh into Big Bend. South 170 delays at Delmar. Westbound 64 Hampton out to Hanley, still slow. South 270 Bogged down south of 364 to Ladue, north 270, Gravois to 44, and then north of Big Bend up to Manchester is busy. On the Illinois side, eastbound 5570 approaching the 111 to Black Lane slow. Westbound 64 is still busy at 159. Northbound 255, 5570 to Horseshoe Lake Road is busy, and then again up around 111 up in Godfrey. Chesterfield Fence and Deck is your premier provider of fences, decks, patios, sunrooms, and more. Call them for a free estimate today. Now offering 20% off your next outdoor project. Chesterfield Fence and Deck, chesterfieldfence.com. I'm Roger Brand in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Just ahead on Total Information AM, Brad Young is going to join me for our weekly visit. We're going to talk about the rights of victims and dog owners when it comes to dog attacks. First, though, a quick check of the forecast for you. A mix of sun and clouds becoming more humid this afternoon. A thunderstorm in parts of the area through early evening with a high today around 84. Right now we have sunny skies at 72 degrees downtown at the Arch. Well, a federal judge says the government can't block people from using their SNAP food benefits to buy things like candy and soda. That's one of the first stories we're going to talk about this week with KMOX legal analyst Brad Young, partner at Harris, Young, and Kaiser. Good morning, Brad.
Good morning, Megan.
So earlier this year, a number of states got approval from the U.S. Department of Agriculture to ban foods that were considered unhealthy from that federal benefit plan. SNAP residents sued. Talk about the arguments in this case.
Yeah, this is an interesting case, Megan, because one would think, what's wrong with banning sugary soda or candy from SNAP benefits? So the issue here isn't really about whether or not SNAP benefits should be used, to buy big gulps. The legal question here is that does the administration, the USDA, does it have the authority to do that? And because under the statute, there's a specific statute where Congress defines what types of food products can be excluded from SNAP benefits. Now, back in 2024, there was a case called Loper Bright, where the Supreme Court said that agencies don't have the constitutional authority to override what Congress has already enacted. So in this case, the argument was that since Congress chose not to exclude candy and soda from SNAP benefits, then can an agency do that without congressional approval? In this case, the judge said no.
I feel like this is a question that we're considering over and over and over again. What are the rights of the administration? What are the rights of Congress?
That's true. And it's also, and we're seeing this certainly more and more here in recent years, the really question of, and it gets to the beauty and the wonder of our constitutional system, because we have powers that are separated by the Constitution. So an agency like the USDA, it's under the executive branch. And if it starts deciding things that Congress has essentially already decided, then that's really more of a legislative function. So it really gets down to the heart or the genesis of the separation of powers concept that's laid out in our Constitution.
Let's move to our next story that I teased a little bit earlier. This week, KMOX reporter Sean Malone looked at dog attacks and how they've been reported. That same day, a St. Louis man whose pit bulls mauled a woman to death was ordered to stay in jail until his trial. And one of the things in this story that got my attention, his attorney was quoted as saying, "Sometimes sad things happen, and that doesn't mean someone should be charged criminally." I'm curious how you look at this case as an attorney.
Well, that statement is certainly true. Bad things do happen, and every time something bad happens, it doesn't mean that there's a law or a lawsuit that should arise from that. On the other hand, if you look at what the law says about dog bite cases, there's a famous informal saying in the law that for dog bite cases, the first bite is free. And what that means is essentially that an owner cannot be held negligent for a dog that bites someone if that's the first time it's ever happened, because therefore the owner wasn't negligent because the owner did not know that the dog was liable to bite someone. But does that really apply with breeds that are more likely or more known to be violent, like pit bulls, like Doberman Pinschers? And so that's a quandary that the courts have, is that if you have a pit bull, they're known to be violent. Can you be held liable for a dog bite case, even if that's the first instance where this dog has ever bitten someone?
What are the rights of victims versus the rights of dog owners in these types of cases?
Well, dogs are essentially treated as property. I mean, I have a black lab. The black lab is part of my family, right? We love our dogs, but under the law, they're considered property. So if you have a property right, which is I have a right to own a dog versus the right to be free from being attacked, a person's personal interest or privacy rights when it comes to being free from being attacked, that's going to override a property right. So the whole question is always going to circle on these dog bite cases as to whether or not the owner had knowledge or could reasonably conclude that their dog was violent or susceptible to bite someone else. And that's what the laws will focus on when it comes to civil litigation.
Quickly, I want to get to one last thing. A bar owner in St. Charles suing Missouri Attorney General Catherine Hanaway over gambling machines. We had the story yesterday. He says the legislature hasn't prohibited video lottery games, so the Attorney General can't take enforcement action. Hanaway says it's illegal gambling. What does the law say on this?
Well, that's interesting. It's not so much what the law says, Megan, but it's the venue in which this lawsuit is being brought. For example, under Missouri law, Chapter 572, it broadly defines what is a game of chance. It's very broad. And it also empowers the circuit attorney's office to criminally enforce those laws. So if you have an illegal gambling machine, the AG's office can shut that down. But there's two issues here. Number one, this lawsuit is in civil court. So can a civil judge do anything with this? And number two, the question is whether these games, they're called Jinka lab machines, and they pre-reveal what's going to come next in the machine. So the owners are arguing these aren't even games of chance because you're told in advance what the machine is going to do. So the question is whether that fits under the statutory definition of a gambling machine.
Well, I'm guessing we will be talking about this again. Take a chance on that.
Absolutely. You know, these are widespread throughout Missouri, and this will be an ongoing issue.
All right. Brad, thank you so much. Always good to talk to you.
My pleasure.
That is KMOX legal analyst Brad Young. We talk to him every Wednesday morning here on Total Information AM.
Total Information AM on 104.1 FM. KMOX.
It's Tom Ackerman. Gamma Tree Experts goes back to 1954 when Frank Gamma started the business with a pickup truck and hand tools. Today, Frank's sons, Tim and Tom Gamma, carry the business on, and they do a marvelous job. They have an incredible team that will trim trees, that will look at damage and assess it and clean it out, that will do an assortment of treatments for trees that need it all throughout the St. Louis area. We have trees of all shapes, sizes, and types, and Gamma Tree Experts knows them all. Whether it's home, business, or municipal needs, Gamma Tree Experts can help your home, business, or municipality. It is Gamma Tree Experts, the genuine, the original. Go online at gammatree.com. You can read all about their services. Give them a call, have them come over and consult you. I can't recommend them enough. They are the tree company in St. Louis. They are Gamma Tree Experts. Your trees deserve the best care.
Still ahead on Total Information AM. Adulting is hard. Guess what? There's a website to help. We'll tell you more.
Freedom 250. Join the U.S. Air Force Band of Mid-America July 1st through July 7th across St. Louis as we celebrate America's 250-year legacy with free concerts. No tickets required. Details at afbandtix.org. That's afbandtix.org.
Get ready for a night back with legendary hits and non-stop energy. Brian Adams is bringing the Roll with a Punches tour to Enterprise Center Friday, July 24th.
Hello, this is Brian Adams.
Sing along to the classics as Brian Adams delivers an unforgettable night of rock anthems. Plus, special guests Pat Benatar and Neil Girardo. Brian Adams, July 24th. For more info, KMOX.com/events.
Broadcasting from the Scott Credit Union Studio, 104.1 FM, KMOX.
I'm Megan Lynch. Thanks for listening to Total Information AM on this Wednesday morning. Do you ever wish someone had given you all the tools to enter adulthood without having to learn some things the hard way? Well, young people can get adulting resources with just the click of a mouse. Life Launch Missouri offers online resources for youth in the challenge of becoming an adult. Missouri Net's Cameron Connor learned more from Grace Chapel, Youth and Family Liaison for EPC Missouri.
So we have education, employment, housing, financial, transportation, food, well-being, legal, pet, healthcare, and a couple other categories. So if you are struggling with any of these sections, you just scroll down until you have that header, and then it asks you questions. It says, do you have a hard time with this? Are you looking for information for that? And it links you to things that connect you to resources for that exact need. So if you're looking for a job and you don't know where to start, if you're currently in the military or wanting a career in the military, we have info to get you that. If you want to buy a house, if you want to get in on homeowners assistance programs, if you want to learn how to set up financial accounts and really get good with managing your money, if you need ride shares, if you want to buy a car, we have all kinds of resources on there. And so there should be something to meet just about every basic need that a struggling young adult shows up to our site with.
Just an aside that I thought of before I move on to my next question. I mean, all of the resources this offers, I wish I had this or knew about it when I was this age. There's really a category, mention, or resource for anything.
Oh, absolutely. There are tons of resources out there for you. That's from the federal government, that's from state governments, that's from Missouri specifically and other states, that's from nonprofits. People want to help you. The problem is usually you have to go find it yourself. They're not always very well advertised. Here's $10,000 for free to put towards buying a house, but you have to know the website to go to, but unless you have their physical business card, you don't know how to get in touch with them. One of the large purposes of Life Launch is to collate as much of that as possible into the same space so you don't have to go hunting yourself. So you don't need to know yet how to go hunting yourself, and we want to teach you.
How can parents or mentors use the resources page to guide young adults without taking over the process?
Youth and young adults are entering this world where now they have all this autonomy and freedom that they didn't have when they were a child. And that is so exciting to young adults. And they are so afraid of losing it. They don't want to ask for help. They don't want anybody to think they can't do everything themselves because they're afraid that that agency is going to be taken away from them and they're going to be forced back into the world of being a little kid. And so when you're working with a youth or a young adult who's in this transitionary period of figuring out their life and being responsible for themselves, it's really important to work with them. You don't tell them what to do. You partner with them to make a decision. You don't want to tell them, well, this is where you should be. You should have had a job by now. You should know better than this. Meet them where they're at. Respect their pace as they develop these things and let them be in charge. It's their life. They have to live it. Help them make that possible. So we have tons of resources on our site. It's under the For Professionals tab, but usually these can be used by anybody who has exposure to youth and young adults. One of my favorite materials that we have on here is the Playbook for Professionals. This is a whole book it's full of information about youth and young adults and different needs that they have, different issues that are common to this developmental period, and how to support them through it. We also have the option for you to sign up for a training to receive a companion manual to this Playbook for Professionals. And that is a book full of hands-on materials. It's worksheets. It's things you can cut out and write on. It's templates that you fill out together. It's flow charts that you can fold up and keep in their pocket to guide them through certain processes. So if you sign up for our training on the website, you'll be able to receive a copy of that, and we'll teach you exactly how to use it.
In your opinion, for all of the youth out there going to this site for the first time, if they're going to take away anything or use a building block to start off with, what's one resource on the site that every young adult should have in the back of their mind from the moment they go there?
I would actually say for young adults, I would bookmark the blog on the Life Launch site. We are working to get a new post uploaded every week with a life skill. So a couple that we have up there right now: how to grocery shop, how to fold a fitted sheet, because for some reason that is the bar that makes people feel like they have everything together and they know how to be an adult. We have one on how to declutter. You've moved 3 times from college apartment to college apartment, and half your stuff's at your mom's and half your stuff is with an old roommate, and you have all this stuff and you don't know what you need. We have a blog post on how to declutter and get rid of that kind of thing. We have things on meal planning, on how to make a phone call and send a good email. A lot of young adults are terrified to get on the phone these days, and it can be scary until you know how to do it. And so we want to teach you how to do it. So that blog is always being updated. We have about 100 posts planned for different skills that we actually consulted young adults and we said, which of these were hard for you? What do you wish was on this list? What did you need help with when you were getting started?
That is Missouri Net's Cameron Connor and EPC Missouri's Grace Chapel. To find that library of adulting resources, you can visit lifelaunchmo.org/resources. Again, that website is lifelaunchmo.org/resources.
Time now for today's Spotlight on Health Trends, sponsored by Ethos.